I kind of feel like we got that one right, Deadstroke. I had no idea why everybody thought Goodell had to let this guy in his league. I never understood that.
Nope. And I think we both separately of each other were like, I wouldn't let him in.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this hump day. Heck of a show lined up for you. It's because the sports world keeps on delivering. My goodness. How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. So Mark knows this, and I think most of you have gotten the gist that I do the majority of the starting five right before the show. And so I get up 4-ish, 4:30 if it's late. And now I may make some notes the night before, don't forget this, or just write down, PGA, something like that. But for the most part, I do this leading up to the show. And Mark and I don't communicate. We're waking up. He's getting his coffee. I'm putting the starting five together. Mark, I very rarely, in the years that we've been doing this show, have worried about leaving things out of the starting five. And I have really never worried about leaving things out of the starting five in June and July coming up and what have you. Because there's just not enough going on to fill up, our sports center, if you will. Yeah, Mark, I've been terrified that I've been missing like big stories all week. Like, am I missing something? Because, man, there's so much going on. I just feel as if I don't have enough room. Because that's the other thing. I got to get it all on a page. Handwritten notebook page. I don't know what the measurements are here. Okay. I think it's the standard.
8.5 by 11.
There we go. Thank you.
8.5 by 11.
So
with very, very small writing. I'm worried that you're going to miss something because you write so small that you may just skip over something.
It's entirely possible. It's entirely possible.
Because when I was doing it for 2 weeks, I type it out so I can read my own writing. I don't feel like I'm neat enough to write something out, nor do I want to write something out anymore. But I was at the 11 to 14 page area on a daily basis. Now, it's probably big font and, a lot of cutting and pasting to make sure I've got all the baseball highlights and the right players doing what. But, I will say there are some, check marks. You've got The Athletic, their front page. You've got ESPN, their front page. You got the New York Post. They kind of cover things pretty well. I mean, there are some checks and balances out there to make sure that you don't miss anything that would be considered big.
But the problem is at times the New York Post can get very regional. Okay, goodness knows ESPN can be guilty of, oh, do we have the broadcast rights to that? No, that's not important. Okay, and they'll leave something off like their front page and their, because they have multiple series of dots, if you know what I mean. And you might be looking and it's not in the first series of dots and it's in like the third. Well,
I understand because I went to, on ESPN, I would go to whatever sports were going on page, NBA, NHL, and NFL every day, no matter what. No matter what.
Yep.
I would check profootballtalk.com. I would check the NFL page on both The Athletic, the Score app that I use, and ESPN every day just to make sure I'm not missing something, because the NFL typically this time of year, unless it's something big or salacious, does not make the front page of many of the sites.
So I hope I didn't miss anything.
Well, David, if you did, it's going to be on the Twitch chat room and the YouTube chat room and our Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. Because now that you're back and doing it, and other than when Trent did it, and I was fearful that he would miss everything for one day, I quit paying attention again. I trust you. Unless I have a tidbit that I want to slide in between baseball games, of which there are 3 that I have from last night. That you may, or that I'm guessing you have 2, but the third, I don't know. We will see.
I don't know. Baseball's like the 4th thing down on my page, which is pretty far down this time of year. So may not be as thorough as I normally am in the morning. We shall see. But my goodness, is there a lot going on? You know what a sucker for a draft I am. You know what a sucker for essentially a trade deadline, which in all these sports, in the NBA, it's this week. Okay. And in hockey, their draft is Friday and Saturday. And so in a sense, they've got a trade deadline and a draft all coming up this week. So a lot going on. NBA, NHL, baseball season. I mean, teams are at the halfway point.
They are, and it is a jumbled mess for the wild card in both the American and National League. You have like 7, 8 teams in the National League, all within a couple games of one another. And in the American League, can anybody get to 500? And once they get there, can they stay? Hello, Toronto. I'm talking to you. So we've got that going on in baseball, but I've got to give you a quick story, David, because yesterday in the good, the bad, and the ugly, I had a snake story. And
Right.
I wished upon you a snake in your house,
Yes.
in your kitchen, so that you guys would have to go out to dinner for 2 or 3 months. And I
Right.
was being a little more tongue-in-cheek, but not completely.
No,
So-
no. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the few people in the world I'd take a bullet for right here. Okay, right. This is someone I'm genuinely very fond of, and he was beaming while doing this good, bad, and ugly story. He was ever so slightly tongue-in-cheek. The rest of his face was like, oh, man, if we could get this by Thursday, that would be ideal.
No. I would do the Trevino rubber snake with you and have no problem doing it. But I say that because you know what karma is. And so yesterday, we have 2 cats. And some of you on Twitch and YouTube are getting to know the cats, because every once in a while I go Brando from Godfather 1 and the cats hop up on my lap during the show. In fact, one was just here moments ago. She comes in every morning until about the starting 5, and then she leaves. I take the starting 5 off, so does the cat. But that cat, the female cat, is the hunter. That cat is the tougher of the 2 cats. And yesterday, the cat wanted to go outside, and we let our cats out in the pool cage area. We don't let them out, but they can go out around the pool cage and check things out and, have the birds yell at them, etc., and catch the occasional lizard. Well, yesterday, we let the female cat out, my daughter and I. And I'm not paying much attention. It's right around lunchtime. And all of the sudden, I hear my daughter kind of scream. And I look, and damned if a snake didn't get inside the pool cage.
Uh-oh.
Damned if the cat didn't want a piece of the snake.
Oh, here we go.
And the snake was not small. It was a black snake. I know they're harmless and they don't bother me. But the snake was probably 3 foot long, not super thick, but about 3 foot in length, maybe a little longer than that. It was a decent sized black snake. And the cat wanted a piece of it. And the cat has now forced the snake over by the pool. It found the snake over by the screen and had forced it towards the pool. And so I kind of went out and yelled. I didn't want the cat to kill the snake or the snake bite the cat or whatever the hell could happen. I don't know. It's, wild kingdom out there. I'm not really trying to stop it. I'm just trying to get the cat in the house. And the cat wanted nothing to do with me trying to scare the cat in. At first 2 attempts, the cat's like, F you, I got a problem out here, and I'm going to take care of the problem.
Right. I want the snake. You're getting in the way.
Yes. And so I managed to get in the way enough to get the cat to curl back around, and the cat came in the house. And then I grabbed, there's a sand wedge out on Lanai because for a gift, I was bought one of these floating golf greens in the pool of plastic balls, and my daughter and I will try to hit the plastic ball onto the green. So there's a sand wedge right by the door. And I'm like, well, let's take care of the snake. You know, I can go 50, I can go 60 degree on a snake without much of a problem. The problem is after I corralled the cat, the snake took off and it went behind the pool. And there's about 3 feet from the pool, 5 feet from the pool to the back screen, in which there is a chest basically where we keep the pool toys, the pool vacuum, and it's turf. The half of it is turf. So I went by the turf and I don't see the snake. And my guess is, and I will say my guess is that the snake is either under the crate or in the crate.
Right. I'm guessing under.
Both of which will be determined at a later date in hopes that the snake gets hungry and leaves the backyard. Because I had a little fun in which I said to my daughter, I said, hey, honey, time to get the vacuum out for the pool. Go take care of that. No! So after trying to tease David about the snake yesterday, it was I who had an incident with the snake. And I probably should have let the cat just take care of business.
Yeah, although if something had happened to one of your beloved cats, okay, I would love to have been there to have you explain it to your wife. Well,
I would have had my money on the cat. It wouldn't have been the first snake that my cat has killed.
Okay.
He's tough.
But
the other cat would have come running for cover.
But even if the snake gets a couple bites in,
right? I know.
Who knows what the ramifications are down the road?
Therein lied the problem as to why I went for the cat, because I had my money on the cat. I don't think the cat would lose in 100 tries with that snake. However, what damage could the snake do to the cat in that short amount of time? And I'm willing to take that chance, David.
Exactly. Those internal injuries come back and bite you in the you-know-what, and you live with a vet, for goodness sake.
Exactly. So snake and cat, round 1, called 10-10 by all 3 cards yesterday. We got a pretty good show lined up for you today. We're going to talk a little NBA. We're going to talk a little NFL. And we'll talk with Seth Everett, along with Mike Luchene and Bobby Reagan on Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, Cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
No!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio, with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
This is Miller and Moulton.
All right, Jay Gunn, they don't have fangs. I get that, but they can't bite. And can that do damage to my cat? I don't know. I'm not a snake expert, nor was I going to go to Chat GPT in the 7 seconds I had to determine that. But I know, and they are harmless, and I don't hate them, baby Joel. I'm cool when I see, if the snake wouldn't have been around the cat, I could have watched the snake for 20 minutes. The snakes don't bother me like that. Now, a rattlesnake would bother me. I mean, obviously, something that could hurt me. I mean, I got the gibbers scared out of me when I was fishing on the Deschutes River, and you had to, you kind of waded down and then walked back to the spot. And when I walked back and nearly stepped on a rattlesnake, that scared the bejibbers out of me. But I knew they were there, because I was told, hey, just be careful. There's rattlesnakes around here. Okay, probably if I'd have known that before the trip, I might not have gone.
I was going to say, I'll be back at the house. Let me know how it goes.
David, here's the problem. When we do that trip, we stay in tents. There is no house.
You stay intense. Whew. I'm Hawk Harrelson. He gone.
Yeah, you wouldn't have came then, because once you're there, there's no getting out.
Nope.
You take a boat, you take a jet boat 10 miles upstream, and you're there until the boat leaves.
Yep.
I mean, you could walk the 10 miles on the railroad tracks, probably. No, it was camping. It was fishing. It's a fishing trip, camping fishing trip. It's amazing. I love doing it. Absolutely love doing it. Steelhead fishing in the Deschutes River, in the high desert in Idaho.
I will say, Jay Gunn, you make the cat sound like he's a great middleweight fighter who goes to the body. Okay, let the cat go to work next time. Well, what are we in the 6th round? Yeah, go in there and, tenderize him a little bit. Huh. Come on, Rock, the body, the body, the body. I mean, those iconic Rocky movies.
I'm just in agreement. Of course they are.
Boy, you got my wife on your guy's side, something crazy. She now is using it. She'll be flipping through the guide. She'll see a Rocky movie. She'll stop. She'll turn, and she goes, "You want to watch this iconic Rocky movie?"
Hey, you know what? You tell your wife The Breakfast Club's an iconic movie, too.
She came to that conclusion long before you guys did.
I would honestly say probably the same time. I was there
about the same age.
That you're just waiting for that door to open so you can stand next to your food for an hour and wait for the thing to come out. We have an automatic feeder, and the one cat, the female cat, will stand next to it for at least 30 minutes before will not leave the area of the feeder for 30 to 45 minutes before every meal.
Huh.
Just in case it's early. And there's sounds. My daughter faked, meowed like the cats. You hear 3 loud meows. I'm not a Star Wars guy. I'd go Mickey every time, Brian. I understand where you're coming from, and I like the voice and word choices of Yoda, but I after the original Star Wars, I never really got into it. Wasn't my thing.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. The starting 5 coming up in a little more than 15 minutes time. Mike Luchene to talk some NFL in a little more than an hour. Did you watch much of the NBA draft last night?
Much, no. Some, yes. Very little. Probably the first 6 picks on TV, 2 of which my wife was enjoying the baby pictures put behind the player when they would do the sit-down interviews with the family. She was critiquing all of the baby pictures. Why would they use that picture? That's a terrible picture of him. Rewind. And then she made me rewind it to see a baby picture. And I looked at her and said, I don't even care about this, right? I said, you're making me rewind something that I do not care about whatsoever. I'm just trying to figure out what guy gets picked in what order. So when David talks about the draft, I can at least make a comment or two.
You can go, No, I remember. So I'm guessing then that you were watching ABC's coverage of the draft?
Yeah.
Because it was on ABC and it was on ESPN. And usually
I think
put on
ESPN.
Okay, because usually they put on 2 different drafts. But maybe not. Yeah, I saw some childhood stuff. The thing that drove me nuts was you knew very early on that ESPN was going for the family thing.
Yep.
They were going to invite mom and dad over, grandparents, whoever's the 2 most important people in the raising of the child. An occasional brother or sister got to kind of hang near the couch. But, it was a family thing. Well, I've been doing this my whole life. You're 19. But okay. Yep. Got it. And, there are times in which I can cry. I'm so romantic when it comes to sports. I'm a sap. And I don't mean Warren. But then there are times when I am a Warren because I feel like spitting seeds at the TV. I don't care about this. I care about whether or not his 3-point shot is going to continue to follow him to the NBA. Or did he just have one good year shooting the 3 and remember it's a shorter shot? But anyway, I will say this. The one thing that struck me last night, you and I have been selling college hoops pretty hard the last few years. We're like, listen, the product's pretty good. Okay, yeah, they don't play the way they used to, but the product's pretty good. And we were all over last year early. Like, man, there is some talent out there. You got to start watching this stuff. Don't wait till February. Mark, I'm more convinced after last night. I mean, we waited till the season was like an hour and a half old last year. We might have been late. Man, there was a lot of talent in this draft. I don't know if I'm going to remember all these guys' names, but damn. I mean, I knew the A-Cuff kid at Arkansas was good. But he's the second person in the history of the SEC to lead the league in scoring and assists. The other guy's name is Maravich. Damn. It's not like the SEC has sucked the last 2 or 3 years either. Like, holy cow. This guy made it to 7? Boy, those top 6 better be really good. 44% from 3? Leading the league in scoring and assists? Damn. I don't know if you could have gotten me to wait till 7. But anyway, it was just things like that when Jay Billis is going through the resume. And thank God for Jay Billis last night, because then we could talk some basketball. Oh, it was so nice. Jay had he was about as romantic as a pet rock last night, and that was exactly what I was looking for.
Well, I mean, I'm letting you go because this is your thing. I look at my phone and go, oh, this guy got drafted here. Yep. I didn't listen to a second of it. Not 1 second. I had it on without the volume, and my wife was commenting on baby pictures. And I will say, but the only thing I'll say, David, put it this way. If the draft would have been all basketball talk, my wife wouldn't have paid any attention.
I know.
Because they did the family thing,
yep.
She paid attention. You still paid attention. So let's understand that what they do works.
Oh, I know. Come on, you and I know the game.
Right.
Absolutely. We got to make it more well-rounded. Okay, we have to cater to the non-diehard fan here.
Right. Hey, the diehard fan watches no matter what.
Right. Okay, hey, we might have wives sitting down with husbands to watch the beginning of this. We got to keep the wives interested. Where's mom? Where's dad? Hand them a microphone. Who cares if they're awkward with the microphone? We don't care. Just get them on TV. Get them to the couch.
By the way, 15 freshmen taken, 6 seniors taken, and 2 foreign-born, not 2 foreign players, I guess. Lopez, who the Pistons took, who was, I think, the first-round pick ever born in Mexico, which is a pretty interesting thing, the growth of the game.
It's fascinating.
And he's he played in New Zealand last year. And then the Lakers took a player from Spain with pick 25. It doesn't mean there weren't other foreign players taken in the draft, but they all played collegiate basketball.
Right. But yeah, first one from Mexico, born in Mexico, that's going to play in the NBA. And I mean, seriously, he's going to have a fan base.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, the Pistons merchandise sales from Mexico just went way up because of last night. Oh, yeah. He's going to have a following. Good for he and they. But so that's some of what we had going on last night. The top 4 players taken were the top 4 that everybody said would be the top 4. It was just a matter of what order would they be taken in. I felt good. Okay. ABC ESPN's front office expert was our front office expert yesterday. It was Bobby Marks. Okay. I'm like, hey, there he is. We woke him up today. Looks like he went back to sleep. I know he did at least a couple podcasts in between when we woke him up and the show, but it's our guy.
Now, let's just hope for Michigan's sake that this interim coach works better than the last interim coach that was hired after a stud brought him a natty. Because as you remember, Harbaugh bought him a natty, and then, well, we all know what happened next. And Dusty May, I mean, what a day for Michigan. I know they're bummed because their guy left. But all the Michigan kids taken in the first round and Dusty Mays with the Mavs. I thought, and he took one of them, by the way. So I just thought it was a pretty good day for the Maize and Blue, David.
So they went 9, 11, and 12, did the 3 Michigan kids. It was funny, though. They interviewed the first one, who Dallas took at 9, and they asked, So how much input do you think your college coach had? And the guy became an NBA player at that moment. Looked right at, I forget who asked the question, might have been Lisa Salters on the couch. He looked right at her and said, he's had the job 2 days. I don't know how much they've started listening to him yet. I'm like, there you go. It's a totally different power structure at this level. You got it. Yeah.
Miller and Moulton. Starting five coming up on the other side. We will talk some NBA draft. We'll talk with Seth. We'll talk some NFL because, well, Sorsby isn't going to have a supplemental draft. Funny, Roger Goodell said, yeah, not interested.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe. And your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Thank you, Paula. We were wrong. I had a list of who drafted people in front of me. That's on me. I didn't watch, and I don't care. I cared about the first 6 picks. After that, I don't even know who half these guys were. So, on me. I did not have the trades in front of me. Now I do. So, my mistake. My apologies. He is ineligible to play in 2026. He can play in other professional leagues, Brown Chicken. That I'm reading off of something. I know I'm right there. That's why it's hard for me to talk about an NBA draft that I didn't watch nor care about, guys. I could talk about the first 6 picks because that's what I watched. Wanted to see where they went. And I had it on through, I think I had it on through the Arizona kid taken by the Bucks. And then I turned the television off and went to bed. because I know I did not see the Michigan kid get taken by Golden State, which I do think for Golden State, who's trying to take a run, one last run with Steph, taking an older kid makes a lot of sense.
Well, Mark, you could have been on the panel because that whole panel raved about the pick.
I mean, you might as well get a guy that can play instead of an 18-year-old that you got to figure out.
Yep. That's what they said.
What? I would doubt it. Shimko, I would, just because there's so many taken, but I don't know the answer to that. I would say it's highly unlikely, maybe in the first round, but in today's basketball world, that seems damn near impossible. But I do not know the answer. I would bet against it, I guess. If you were offering that as a bar bet, I would say they have taken one. Hi. You want to come up? Come on. Give me some Godfather action. No? Thought of you yesterday, David. I had a virtual doctor's appointment, and Dr. Kamani was having difficulty hearing me during the Zoom call. Couldn't hear me at all, so I had to log back out and log in. But I was just laughing because I'm giving him, thumbs up and nodding my head as he's talking.
Just start giving him a countdown just to see how he'd react.
I gave him one of these towards the end because I about had it with a meeting. I was trying to watch England. Sally and Peaches. I had nothing to do with the names of the cats. My daughter was going to name a cat Peaches. The orange male cat is named Peaches. He has a complex because of it. And the gray cat is named Sally because my wife names all of her animals after Charlie Brown characters. She has had Linus, the golden retriever. She had Lucy, a cat that I did not know. And she had Charlie Brown, a cat that I knew when I met her. And that cat was an asshole. Bit everybody. Her mother, my dad, me. Although it was nice to me when we first met, scored big points. Cat liked me when I first went to her place.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Mike Luchene to join us 1 hour from now to talk a little NFL. And not just because it's a day that ends in Y. It's because, well, there was compelling news yet again from the National Football League yesterday.
And David, let's get some stuff out. And I know one person is aware of it. I did not receive anything on the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line, leading me to believe that not many of you were watching the draft past pick 10. But there were lots of trades last night. Memphis and OKC swap picks 16 and 17. And then the Grizzlies traded with the Pistons 17 to 21. So Lopez, the kid born in Mexico, selected by the Pistons, was immediately traded to Memphis. So Memphis will be the team selling the merch, not Detroit, David.
And then you had the Knicks and the Lakers, 24 and 25. And then the Knicks sold off 25 to Dallas because they don't want to have to pay the $4.3 million against their cap this year because they're saving every dollar to stay under the second apron. So, yeah, there were those type of trades.
Yeah, there were a lot on the back half of the draft. So, I mean, there were looks like from what I can see, like 10 players were traded last night in the draft.
Officially,
perform.
Right. Officially 7 trades because some of the deals had been made in advance and it was just a matter of what players were going to fill in the blanks. But officially 7 trades last night. That's part of what we will get to with
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting Five.
And we'll start with the NBA draft. Round 1 was last night. Round 2 will be tonight. Top 4 players were as expected. Don't know if they went to the teams in which they were expected, but A.J. Debinsa, the BYU kid, went first overall to the Wizards. Darren Peterson, the Kansas kid, went second overall to Utah. Cameron Boozer from Duke went to Memphis. And Caleb Wilson, Mark, you liked him. You even wondered without the injury if he'd go higher than the top 4. Well, he went 4th, and he went 4th to Chicago. If you're a Bulls fan out there, are you like, well, every 40 years we need a superstar to come out of North Carolina, and we need to take him in the top 5? Is that what you're going? Come on, Caleb. Come on, be the right pick today.
I thought that the Bulls should never take someone from North Carolina again, because immediately on X, there were people pointing that out, and I went, oh, this poor kid.
Michael went 3rd in 84. Caleb Wilson went 4th in 2026. Technically, 7 draft night trades. 3 Michigan players went in the top 12. Round 2 is tonight. Some of the names that you'll likely hear. Remember the Purdue guard was there all 4 years? All right. He was a freshman when they got beat in the 116 matchup. Then he was a junior when they played for the Natty, Braden Miller. Okay. All right. He'll get drafted tonight. Isaiah Nelson from South Florida will get drafted tonight. Trey Donaldson from Miami will get drafted tonight. Both the Heat and Magic do have picks tonight. They did not have picks last night. NHL draft Friday and Saturday. First round Friday, rest of it Saturday. There was a major trade that went down last night. It's not often
there's a lot of
NHL
teams that are trying right now.
Yes. And it's very interesting. Like, Mark, you and I, since we went from the majority to the minority, but I don't know why. Because I think certain teams, like the Panthers and the Golden Knights and others, have proven, hey, trade those draft picks for proven players. First off, a draft pick is kind of a shot in the dark. And secondly, outside of the absolute game changer that comes about every 3 or 4 years, these guys all take 3 to 5 years to develop. Trade the pick now. Get something out of them before you get fired.
There are very few Celebrinis, very few Connor Bedards,
right?
That go from junior hockey or college hockey right to the league. It does not happen very often.
So, major trade between the Sabres and the Blackhawks. Blackhawks had the 4th overall pick of the draft, and they made a multiplayer deal with Buffalo in which, Buffalo's got a few good players that they're not going to be able to afford, and one of them is defenseman Bowen Byram. So he's going to Chicago to be part of their first pair defense. And the Hawks give up the 4th overall pick in the draft. So here are the Sabres, division champs from a year ago, like 5th best record in the league, and they're drafting in the top 5. All right. Mike Babcock, listen, have you ever, Mark, remember, we're hockey guys. We pay close attention to this league. What's Bettman been commissioner? 33 years? Has he ever commented on the hiring of a coach?
No, I don't believe so, David.
Well, he did yesterday when asked about Edmonton hiring Mike Babcock, okay? And he warned Babcock about his future behavior.
Publicly and privately. This is a fascinating hire.
Oh, my goodness.
Anybody that knows me knows I'm not a big fan of retreads. But Edmonton has tried it a million different ways. They've brought up their guy from AAA. They've hired out. Nothing's worked. They've not raised the cup in a long time. And they've got a couple more years with this McDavid guy. And if they don't get a cup, he gone. And I think he's gone anyhow. No matter what happens. But Babcock, was asked why he didn't take the Columbus job and gave some BS reason.
His wife told him it wasn't a good fit. Quit the job because they had already taken it.
Right. And then there's nobody. He is as disliked as any coach who's ever coached. Now, the old school guard who still runs this league allows him to still coach because hockey is probably still the most, old man club sport left. And the things, the mind games he's played with players, the blatant lies he's told management about players are disgusting. But he won a gold medal with Canada for Team Canada. He won a cup, a couple with the Wings, right? So he's won at the highest level, and Edmonton is desperate.
But we had Greg Wyshynski on recently, and he said, and he started rattling through the rosters that he got to coach. And he basically said, you take those rosters away from him, he's 500. And I'm thinking to myself, you take those rosters away from everybody, they're 500. But,
right.
And one final thing. Boy, this subject frosts Mark. I got to get moving. NHL expansion. The league all but came out yesterday and said, we're going to add 2 teams. One of them is going to be Atlanta, and the other is going to come from the state of Texas. There's this really rich guy, and we're giving him 6 months to choose between Austin and Houston. Hello.
I'm intrigued by the Austin thing because when you do an Oklahoma City and you give a team its first franchise, I mean, look at Vegas now. Vegas is going to have they're going to end up with 4 major pro sports teams in the not too distant future. Their first team was their hockey team. They love that team. Utah's going really well. And I know there's a basketball team there, but I'm interested. Houston's a huge city. Houston probably deserves the team, but Austin would only have 1 team.
Right.
Now they do have the University of Texas to compete with, and that's kind of a big deal in that town. But I just find it interesting.
To me, I think that Austin would be a lot like Raleigh was almost 30 years ago. All right. World Cup. Well, we should have known Ronaldo was going to have a big day. Why? He's a star, and this is the stars tournament so far. Ronaldo with 2 goals. Portugal 5-0 over Uzbekistan. Harry Kane had a sitter in the box with 4 minutes to go in regulation, and he knocked it into the 19th row, Harry Kane. In a scoreless tie with Ghana, in which England outshot him 17-2. Croatia 1-0 over Panama, and Colombia 1-0 over Congo. Baseball. Marlins back to their winning ways at home. Sandy Alcantara sets the record for most strikeouts in Marlins history. He's 5-0 in June alone. Miami 6-4 over the Rangers. Pete Crow Armstrong with a 3-run homer. Dansby Swanson with a homer and 4 RBIs. Cubs 9-6 over the Mets.
And one of the more peculiar things ever in that game. On a walk, Crow Armstrong is stealing second. They throw down and tag him. It was a walk. The manager appeals. He's ruled out because he went past the base. Manager ejected. They're still verklempt as to how the hell this happened.
Padres 7-6-10 over the Braves. Manny Machado with the game-winning hit in extras. Phillies with 8 in the 9th to beat the Nats 14-9. That's after they scored 3 in the 8th.
David,
Wow.
it's the highest scoring ninth inning since 2015 for the Phillies. You know who they did it against? The Nats.
Brewers 2-0 over the Reds. Brandon Sprout threw 6 one-hit innings, struck out 10. 17 hits for the Dodgers, a season high. They beat the Twins 12-3. Rays have lost 8 of 11. Got bombed at home by Kansas City 12-5. Joe Caglianone, the former Gator, who got hot right before arriving in St. Pete, hit another bomb last night. Yankees lead is 3 now in the East. Jazz Chisholm a big night. A homer, 2 RBIs, 3 runs scored, 4-3 over your Tigers. Astros in extras, 9-7 and 11. They scored 2 in the 9th, 3 in the 11th to beat Toronto. Toronto's now back below 500. Boston, Sonny Gray, 7 one-hit innings. They beat Colorado 5-2. He struck out 11. Angels 5-1 over the Orioles. Ryan Johnson with 6 one-hit innings. White Sox are in first place. Beat the Guardians 2-1. Miguel Vargas is solo homer in the 6th, won it. Seattle back above 500. Pirates below 500 after Seattle's 3-2 win over Pittsburgh.
And in that game, David, pretty fun story. Cole Young, this was one of my little nuggets I had, hit the 2-run home run to take the lead from Seattle. Cole Young from Pittsburgh. That was his first ever game at PNC Park, and he hits the home run to win it in his hometown. That's pretty cool.
Diamondbacks 4-3 over the Cardinals. No runs scored in that game until the 9th, when Arizona scored 4 and St. Louis scored 3. Baseball. Robbie Ray, 8 innings to 2-hit ball. Giants beat the A's 3-1. Quickly, no supplemental draft in the NFL. I haven't had one since 2023. And Goodell said, for this guy from Texas Tech, hell no. And the Titans signed Jeffrey Simmons, $35 million a year for 3 years. And the Falcons signed Kyle Pitts, $18 million a year for 3 years. And finally, the PGA Tour made it official. They announced their 2-track plan. The one tour is going to be called the Champion Series, and the other tour is going to be called the Challenger Series. Yeah. This is going to go over almost as bad as New Coke.
The money that they want for what's the top series?
Champions.
The Champion Series, 20 to 30 million a tournament. I was actually listening to PGA radio yesterday, David. Yes, I was. And those that cover the sport were like, that's a lot of money. They are unsure. And they don't ever say anything bad about the sport that they cover.
Right. Them going, that's a damning indictment.
Yeah. Yes.
And the magic numbers are 66 days to the start of the college football season and 11 weeks tonight, 77 days till the Seahawks host the Patriots in the start of the NFL season. And that, Mark, is your starting 5. 5 big stories you needed to know here on Miller and Moulton.
When we come back, I was out yesterday, David, and I don't think you're going to like what I have to say.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
No!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio, with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes
Your
alive.
roof is your home's first line of defense. At At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
And Ambient, I think you're right. I mean, I know he can't go back to Texas Tech and he's not going to the NFL, but I think you're right on the UFL, but there's no guarantees they take him. I think they will. I would if I were them. He could go to Canada as well. But there, everybody's so sad. Everybody was for sure he was going to get in the supplemental draft. I didn't understand where that came from. He can't. Texas Tech dropped their lawsuit. The Big 12 ain't letting him back at Texas Tech. Okay, that's a done deal. That kid is not playing college ball ever again. It ain't happening. I'd bet my job on it. Texas Tech's already walked away from that fight. That's why he went to the supplemental draft. It wasn't if they don't have one, we'll take you back. They dropped the lawsuit, the whole thing with the AG. Texas Tech dropped it. They've learned that he's not wanted. I mean, we've talked about this story extensively. Texas Tech has dropped that fight. They're not going to win. The Big 12 has flexed their muscle and has told Texas Tech he ain't playing for you. That's why he went to the supplemental draft in the first place. No one wants to go to the supplemental draft if given a choice. By the way, it's now 7 years since they've had someone taken in the supplemental draft, 2019. I was there. Got there at 5 o'clock, 4:45, something like that. Watch the second half there.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for being with us. Mike Luchene, who covers the NFL, will join us in about 35 minutes. One of the big stories of yesterday, no supplemental draft after all. Who brought that up? There's a possibility. Yeah, maybe the show will come to me. I don't know. It's early. Oh, wait a minute. I know. Seth Everett in an hour, Bobby Reagan in about 90 minutes' time. Do I dare ask? Okay, because obviously you were out and about, so you did some R&D, right?
I did. And I didn't even have to ask questions, David. I just had to shut up and listen. So, if you've been listening to the show for a while, the British Open Pub has been sponsoring for the last few weeks here for the World Cup. And obviously, the name British Open Pub, you know one of the teams that they're going to follow. The one thing I did find out, and I saw a lot of people, because I used to go there before the whole cancer thing. I'd stop in there, I don't know, every other week and have a couple of pops with a few of the guys. And I met a few of the Brits, and they're wonderful guys. And some of them listened to the show and had listened to the show long before I met them. So I, got to see a few people, and that was very nice. And they were incredibly welcoming to me again yesterday, and happy to hear that, things are going as well as they can and things like that. But I got there at halftime of the game. Okay. I had a virtual doctor's appointment at 4. So when that ended, I made my way down there. And the Brits were all the ones that I know, the 3-4 guys that I've met and are friendly with, were like fired up for the U.S. soccer team. They were like, "This is kind of cool. We get to watch two teams," because they're all here now. They live in the United States.
Right.
They'll go back and forth. And they're like, "Well, this is fun. I've got two teams to watch. The U.S. has actually been enjoyable." All right. Way to go, guys. But man, oh man, did they rip on that guy you like a lot.
Harry Kane.
Oh, goodness gracious. I see, when there's the good and bad about this is that I'm going to have to hear this at least 7 times this segment. But long before he missed a wide open net.
Oh, boy.
Long before. I heard, "Has been, you're old." They were not happy with Harry Kane. Now, I ended up sitting next to a guy I didn't know. KJ, I think was his name. And he was a diehard England fan. And he's like, this is, he wasn't as worried about the result as many others were there, because of goal differential. They're still going to more than likely win the group. And this was kind of going to be played this way because Ghana needed the point a lot more than they needed the 1 more than playing the way that they needed to play to get the 3, if you know what I mean.
Right.
But man, oh man, were they all over Harry Kane. And then he misses a wide open net.
Wide open. Not the easiest half volley. It's about 3 to 4 feet off the ground. Okay. Sometimes you don't hit them square.
He was a little jumpy on that one. Probably could have waited. Probably didn't realize the amount of time that he actually had.
Right.
He tried to drill it, and he missed. He didn't just miss the net.
Ugh.
I mean, this was 50 Cent throwing the first pitch. This thing was gone.
Just a bit outside. Yeah, this was, oh boy. Yeah.
But
Mhm.
I didn't know when I got there. I was hoping, and they weren't chanting. They are taking this incredibly seriously. I mean, no. And I get it. They've not, the one guy there who I really like, Andy, he's like, he looked at me and he goes, Mark, and I'm not doing the accent.
60 years.
He goes, I turned 60 next week. He goes,
Yeah.
I was 7 weeks old the last time we won one of these.
Yeah. Right.
He goes, because we invented the sport, we think that we have the right to win it every time. And they have an arrogance about their fandom that is not like the South American countries at all, who are just having a party. Even some of the other European nations, rather, are a lot more fun. The Dutch, Norway's not been in this a while, so you can't really, this has been a while for Norway, so they're just excited. But I did laugh because there was 4 Scottish fans in there. And a couple of them are actually from Scotland who flew over to go to the game today in Miami. And they'd go, "What, did he miss that?" And they lived. So there was that. But a good crowd, no chant. Very disappointed that there was not one chant in the second half. They were very serious.
Yes.
And they are not happy, David, with Harry Kane right now. I know he had 2 in the first game, but they're kind of expecting something every game.
Well, Mark, let's be honest. England is a soccer nation. What was that line before Spurrier? Okay. That the Gators fan base has the arrogance of Notre Dame and the record of Wake Forest. When you haven't won a major competition in 60 years, after a while, you want the trophy, man. I don't give a damn about anything else. I don't care if Harry Kane's got 23 goals and 34 assists. I don't care if he doesn't play. I want wins. That's all I care about.
And by the way, you were accurate. I will say this. You were accurate in the starting 5 on the shots in the game, but none of them are on goal. You're talking, I mean, the goalie made 3 saves, 3 in the entire game. Okay.
17.
Yeah, they outshot. Actually, I got 19, but neither here nor there. I've got shots 19-2. You know how many shots on goal? 3-1.
Right.
So you know what? Hit the net, boys.
Yes. Yep.
And Ghana did a tremendous job of basically protecting the box and blocking everything. And that was the style. They played an old school World Cup game. That game was boring.
Oh my goodness, it was dreadful.
As good as this tournament has been, that game was dreadful. And the game I wanted to watch was the one at 10 o'clock, and I didn't see a second of it. I wanted to see Colombia and Congo. Because of the whole gymnastics thing, one of the girls that my daughter competes with, her parents are Colombian, and they're all in. So that's kind of, I root for them. I root for Colombia because of them. I'd like to see them be happy. They're good people.
Well,
so
it's good. They scored in the 76th minute, so you saved yourself a lot of sleep.
There was never a doubt that I was not seeing any of that game last night. No. It's NBA draft in Colombia, Congo at 10. Now, I mean, I will say I don't even know if I'm staying up for the U.S. game. I may see the start of it, but I'm not staying up till midnight in a meaningless game. And you mentioned this before this whole tournament started. I get if you want to start the U.S. at 9. I get it. That, it's when we start a lot of sporting events. You get the whole country in that way. But 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get a good rating? And maybe you will. I know I'm the minority. I get up early for work. I know I'm old now, and they don't care about me from a television rating standpoint.
Right.
But, man, that's a late start.
Yep. Sure is. And
I mean, the NBA looks at that and goes, wow, you guys are really starting late.
Right. Denver Nuggets season ticket holders go, oh, man, it's a late start right there.
So Harry Kane getting a lot of grief yesterday. No one said that name with the joy that you say it with seemingly 114 times a show.
Boy, they were gonna too. That ball hit the corner of the crossbar in the post, came right out to him. Okay, he's got plenty of room around him. He's got enough time to order coffee. He didn't play it that way. Okay. And what should have been a routine comebacker for par ended up being put right off the green, down the ridge, made 7. Ah,
And look, Ronaldo had a terrific game. He had 2 goals. He had 5 shots on goal. They played Uzbekistan, okay? Let's just, when you mouth to the cameras, I'm back after beating Uzbekistan, really?
right.
Real? Are you sure? And it was historic. He's now scored. He's the only player ever to have scored in 6 different World Cups. That's amazing.
It is.
It's truly amazing in that sport where you're, where and look, and I know it's not physical and they dive like a son of a gun, but from a standpoint of how much you have to run and things of that nature, to have done this for as long as he have is amazing. But
Right.
don't announce to the world you're back when you beat a nation that wouldn't have been in this tournament 4 years ago. That's all. That's all.
I'll tell you what, though, I thought he was human yesterday, in which he said, man, last few days have been rough. I thought I had to keep checking every day to make sure that I wasn't retired. Checking every day to make sure I was still on the team because I was so bad.
Well, here, Cristiano, let me explain something to you. You don't win the first game out of group, it's going to get worse. A lot worse, quickly.
Well, that's the thing for Ronaldo and anybody else with a pulse. The stars are performing at such a high level in this tournament so far that if you have a bad match, you look awful. And not because you have a bad match. It's because the guys you're compared to are crushing it.
Now we get 6 games a day for the next few days because they finish group with simultaneous games going on. That's part of the reason the U.S. is playing at 10, because both games in their group are at the same time. So that it makes for, I love how they do that. I actually, one team can't get an edge on another by knowing what's going on. It's like, all right, you're playing while they're playing. That I like the aspect of how this tournament runs from this point forward. Maybe a corrupt organization, and there may be tons of reasons not to like FIFA, but from this point forward, they get this tournament right.
Well, and this was all before there was wholesale gambling. I mean, they had this right, a generation ago. So good for them. But yes, we'll get 2 matches at the same time from now until we get to, the knockout stage.
Miller and Moulton, solid show lined up for you. We will talk a little NFL, bottom of the hour. Mike Luchene covers the NFL draft. Sorsby, no dice.
No! This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio, with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th to the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Mello, that's a good idea. I will make sure David sees that. And Joy there, I appreciate that. I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but I wasn't going there to see you. I was going there to see people that I hadn't seen in a while that I used to hang out with on a regular basis. So it's not your bad because I didn't know you were going to be there or nor was expecting you to be there. And I don't really announce when I go out because no one really gives a damn. I think Mello brings up a point there. We might want to reach out to Darren Heitner because he's got a lot going on with the fifth-year eligibility lawsuits, if he'd come on.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Mike Luchene will join us in a little more than 15 minutes' time. Talk about something that we've mentioned so far today, but we've not gotten to in detail. So, on the surprise scale of 1 to 10, how surprised were you when you found out yesterday that Roger Goodell's got a sense of humor after all, and he pulled the rug out on Sorsby and this whole clickbait game that's been played for weeks now involving the former Texas Tech quarterback?
David, it would have been a 1 earlier, maybe on Monday. But as the week was going on and people who are supposedly in the know in the league, Adam Schefter and others like him are basically saying he could be a second-round pick and speaking as if it was a done deal that there was going to be a supplemental draft. I would say I was a 5-6 when it happened because I still wondered, and even when Schefter and others were talking about this on Monday like it was a done deal, you and I said, what does Roger Goodell have to gain from allowing a known gambler into his league?
Right.
That was, you and I maintained that. And Pat Kerwin for 2 weeks on our show was totally on our side. When we said it that way to Pat, Pat's like, I'm with you. Why does he need to do this? And history was on our side, given the fact that the NFL doesn't like the supplemental draft. And one thing that I just found out in the last, 12 or so hours that I didn't realize is that, one, no one's really sure that the NFLPA would be on the side of Sorsby, because if you go back all those years to Maurice Clarett trying to get in the league, the NFLPA didn't back Clarett. You know why? He wasn't part of the union.
Bingo. First off, okay, little sidebar here. How many times do we have to keep telling you Adam Schefter's not an insider? Adam Schefter's cell phone is, okay? He gets the information given to him by the teams, by the coaches, etc., by the agents in some occasions.
Well, there you go. And that's what we have. And you've said this for a while, David, but those words are key here. Adam Schefter's best sources are agents. Who do agents obviously represent?
Now, on to the supplemental draft. I didn't think it looked good for Sorsby because, one, you couldn't make the case that the NFL in any way, shape, or form wanted him a part of the league in 2026. And when we had Pat on last week, and I said, I just need to reiterate this. When you're suspended by the league, you can't have anything to do with the team, correct? You can't show up at the facility. You can't work out, etc. He said, no, you're sitting at home watching TV like the rest of us. And if you think about it, Goodell, yes, we all know he wouldn't have played in the league this year, but he would have been a part of the league. He would have been getting a check. Roger Goodell would rather Sorsby have to rough it and tough it for a year. Now let's see what his behavior's like. Okay, seriously. So there was very little to no motivation to have him a part of this league this year. And I don't know why people couldn't come to that conclusion on their own. I guess somebody needed to text that to Adam Schefter and a few others because it seemed pretty obvious to a couple of yahoos named Miller and Moulton. All right. When Sorsby took himself out of college, he did so at the advice and backing of Texas Tech. Why? Because they knew if he didn't, that everybody was coming after them and it was going to be a huge distraction. And just like they've gotten injunctions, there are going to be times when the people coming after us are going to get injunctions. And what if they get an injunction when we're 5-0? And now we got to go fight on a Wednesday to keep you eligible? Never mind the fact that what if some of the stuff that's threatened actually went down? And Texas Tech finally decided, listen, we think you're in the right. In fact, we know you're in the right. We just proved you were in the right, and we're willing to bankroll you to keep you in the right. But to keep you in the right is going to be the biggest damn distraction that literally a college football player and a team in the modern era has ever seen. And we're going to punt. Okay? If we've given you any money, you get to keep it. Okay? And they probably thought there'll be a supplemental draft and blah, blah, blah. Good luck with your life. But it's my understanding, Mark, okay, that since he took himself out of college and declared for the supplemental draft, that he cannot go back now and say, hold on a second, I'm a member of Texas Tech.
Not that they could, and they know they can't take him regardless because they don't want the heat. They, like you said, they told him to do this. That's why they tried to get all this court stuff done before the dates that he had to apply to the supplemental draft. And this is not the NBA where you can put the feelers out for the draft and then come back. Typically, when you declare, you're in. So that's one side of this. The other side of this to me, David, and look, I think the UFL will take him.
Oh, yeah.
And the CFL might as well. But if you're Sorsby, do you go play in the UFL or do you just work with, your agent and throw for a year? Or do you have to play? I think you have to play. Even though it could go poorly because the talent in those leagues is not, particularly in the UFL, is not that great.
Yeah,
and
you've got to play.
You risk injury. I mean, there's a lot,
Yep. But you can't be afraid of competition. And you've got to listen. He's got to be on his best behavior and he's got to say and do most everything right for the next few years, even when he's out of the league, because the league and the teams in it will be watching. And so will the media.
This will give the UFL more coverage. And they're, believe it or not, look, we're not ever going to talk about it on this show, at least not while I'm sitting here. If I'm off for a day and David wants to do UFL segments, he can knock himself out. But I can still mute his microphone. But the UFL has had a decent viewership. It really has.
It's around 1 million.
Yeah, hey, that's fine for a league that doesn't have to spend a lot of money. I don't know what their media rights deals are, but they're fine for what they are. They're going to get serious exposure if this kid plays in that league. I mean, if I'm the Canadian Football League, I'm probably taking him. That's a better league than the UFL.
Yeah, and if I'm Sorsby, I want no part of it. Okay, UFL's fine. And we'll be however many weeks into our season when the draft comes around. And, when people say, well, what happens when you get drafted? You say, I'll join the team when my season's over. I'm not leaving my teammates.
But there are no guarantees he ever makes an NFL team. That's the other side of this. Claret never played in the league. What he got a sniff, right? And never really made it.
Denver drafted him in the 3rd round. He was slow. And I don't know if he ever played in a game. but he wasn't in and around the league very long. By the way, it's funny. 25 years later, the views now on gambling and other things, I think if there was a Maurice Clarett now, okay, that the NFLPA and a lot of legal folks would support his case now, and they didn't then.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Go Raiders. It's DeChambeau.
I don't think he can play college, period, Deadstroke.
Now, right now, the NCAA's declared him ineligible. Now, they lost the one injunction, but they're acting as if they haven't lost.
And because the conference of the Big 12 could rule him ineligible, it's seemingly at the point that all conferences will. Even though the NCAA lost that injunction, it doesn't mean that the conferences did. And it looked as if the conferences were going to have to be the ones who made him ineligible, and they were going to have no problem doing so.
By the way, Clarett never had an official carry in the NFL. He got released before the start of what would have been his rookie season. Mike?
Hey, David. Hey, Mark. How you guys doing today?
Good morning, Mike. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me on again.
It's our pleasure. How's your spring, summer going?
Pretty well. Pretty well. The Sorsby thing has been pretty crazy, but we're a month away from camp opening, and it's finally going to be football season again.
Well, there's been enough activity to get you clicks, and also enough inactivity to maybe get you caught up after the draft.
Yeah.
Mike, where's home? Where are we talking to you from?
So I live in Cheshire, Connecticut.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I used to be one of the local ESPN guys over in Bristol. Bristol's about 20 minutes from here.
Gotcha.
It feels like a different life, though. I left there, at this point, almost 20 years ago.
So there is life beyond. You are proof that there is life beyond ESPN.
There is life behind ESPN, absolutely.
Do you go by Rough Draft Mike or NFL Rough Draft on X?
NFL Rough Draft.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, David.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Seth Everett will join us for his weekly visit then. Bobby Reagan will join us an hour from now. And they just had the draft. He covers college basketball. These guys aren't pros yet. Figure we'll talk to Reegs about what took place last night, who he likes, who he doesn't, who got who, etc. But Mike Luchene's kind enough to join us. NFLRoughDraft.com, NFLRoughDraft.com. You can follow Mike on X at NFL Rough Draft. Okay, a lot of ground to cover here. Most of it's going to be about Brandon Sorsby. Don't know if you've ever heard of him before. But in all seriousness, Mike, let's go back to the draft. And I don't know if you did a full evaluation on Sorsby because he wasn't eligible. But there was talk pretty late, even about the week of the draft. There was some whispers about, hey, is he going to make himself eligible for the supplemental? So I'm just curious, what was your evaluation of Sorsby? What type of draftable quarterback is he to you?
Yeah, well, first, Mark and David, thanks again for having me on. Again, I always love coming on your show. So Sorsby, if you go back to this past draft, 2026 draft, I don't do a full evaluation on the players who are going to be in the next draft, but, I'm always kind of peeking a year in advance, especially with quarterbacks. And, there are people who thought Sorsby could be first overall, even ahead of Arch and Dante Moore. And I just didn't see that. A few years ago, I was on the show, we were talking about Shedeur Sanders, and I said I thought he could fall all the way out of the first round. And I feel like you can put these quarterbacks into buckets where that first bucket is top of the first round. And those are the guys that get picked, obviously, top 5, top 10, maybe one or two of them every now and then will trickle out of the top 10, but, they're getting picked shortly after that. You look at J.J. McCarthy and Bo Nix a couple years ago. Then you've got this second bucket where it's end of the first round or first couple picks of the second round. right? Those are your Jason Campbells. Drew Brees back in the day, right? He felt, I believe, the first pick of the second round. There were fewer picks in the first round back then because there were fewer teams, but you've got that bucket. And then after that, I feel like you've got, everyone else. And you've seen it the last couple of years. Dylan Gabriel went in the third round, but there's not really much difference between him and Quinn Ewers, who went in the seventh round. And this year you saw Drew Aller and Carson Beck in the third round. But really, you look at Taylon Green and Garrett Nussmeier, who were late day 3 picks, there's not much of a difference there. So I would have put Sorsby sort of in that second bucket where I think that he had a chance to go in the first round. The player, not stylistically, but the player I'd compare him to in terms of situation is Cam Ward from a couple years ago, where Cam Ward wasn't looked at as being a first-round prospect going into his last season. But everybody kind of saw that, all right, he's going to Miami. Everything's aligning for him to improve his draft stock. I think the same was true of Sorsby with Texas Tech. So I would have put him in that bucket of he's got a chance to be a first-round quarterback, but certainly not a slam dunk first-round quarterback in 2027.
I'm just curious before we get into Sorsby, because Simpson ended up getting picked very high by the Rams, and it's a calculated move by them. They've got Stafford. They don't need him. So I think we can understand the move that they made. But one of the things that you do and you like to put your stamp on is evaluating players for how they're going to be in the NFL. When you look at Simpson, 3 years from now, do you see the potential of him being a top half quarterback in the league?
No, and I hate to knock him, right? He hasn't played it down yet in the NFL, but it kind of seemed like a move of desperation on his part to even enter the draft. So first off, he left Alabama because he wasn't going to start next year. They've got Cameron Russell there, who's the big 5-star recruit, and Ty Simpson most likely wasn't even going to be the starting quarterback. You saw him break down at the end of last year, and you could say, all right, well, it was the wear and tear of the season. There are just not a lot of 205-pound quarterbacks in the NFL, and there are some who don't think that that's a big deal. Look at Kyler Murray, who is much more athletic. These smaller quarterbacks have a hard time holding up. Deshaun Watson, when he was in the draft, his big knock was durability. And yeah, he's had other issues too, but you see he's had a hard time staying healthy. So with Simpson, he obviously made the right call because he got picked, 13th overall by the Rams. But I don't understand that choice at all. You look at the Rams, they trade their first-round picks every year, and they're a win-now team. Making a move for maybe not even 2027, this could be a move for 2028, just doesn't make sense.
Oh, hell, this could be a move for 2029 or 2030. Seriously, it's Stafford's call. It's not like the Rams are going to force him out. He has another good year this year. His back feels good. He'll come back and play. The Rams are like, we got this guy in a rookie deal. Knock yourself out, Matt. I don't think he sees the field. I don't think this is Stafford's last year. I think he plays at least 2 more. I think we're looking at a Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers situation here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was looking at your mock before we had you on because David sent me last night the guest list. So I started going through some of your stuff. And a guy you had going a lot higher than he went was the Dolphins tackle, Proctor. David and I have openly questioned this guy, and we didn't think it was the best pick when his head coach is saying the disparaging things that he did. Nick Saban didn't have a lot of kind words to say about Proctor. Nick doesn't do a lot of that. So what is it that you like about him? And maybe pump the brakes on Miller and Moulton for the Dolphin fan that listened to us and said, oh boy, we think this is a reach. You don't think it's a reach, do you?
Well, if you look at our rankings are a more complete picture of where we actually think the player should be valued. Whereas the mock draft is kind of just what we're hearing that week before the draft. And we'd heard that Proctor could be in play for the Browns. It ended up being a smokescreen, after the fact. I think ESPN ran, some documentary on the draft where he was never even in consideration for them. So we thought that there was a chance he could get overdrafted. We thought, though, his true value was probably somewhere in the lower half of the first round.
Okay.
There have been some issues, some concerns about his work ethic, being a little bit out of shape, and his tape last year wasn't great. I think what helped him this year is it wasn't really a great tackle class. You had questions about all the top guys, even Spencer Fano, who was great on tape. He has short arms. And you look in the league, there are not a lot of starting offensive tackles with arm lengths of 32 or below. So, I don't hate the pick for the Dolphins, but my deal there is the Dolphins need a lot of talent. Okay, they're probably not trying to win this year. And since they're in that situation, I feel like they could have just accumulated talent by drafting the best player available. And Proctor certainly wasn't at that point.
How wary do you have to be? Never mind NFL teams. Like a couple days later, Mark and I got into hey, Nick Saban's bashing the kid. Nick never bashes any of his kids. Okay, stop. However, there's a story with Proctor. Proctor's from Iowa. Okay, he had to recruit the out of him, i.e., had to give him more than he probably wanted to get him. He goes to Nick. It ain't working. He announces he's going to transfer after the Rose Bowl. Nick retires. Okay, DeBoer keeps the kid in the saddle. He responds to DeBoer better. Okay, his people get that out. Well, that's honking off Saban. So now Nick, who never does this to a kid, now Nick's out bad-mouthing a kid. Why? Because he ain't coaching anymore. And I'm just curious, when you have to acquire information, how much of the politics do you have to dive into? Because, we had to go pretty layered there. This goes back to him at high school. Then he was going to transfer. So he only stayed because Nick was leaving. There aren't many kids that have said, hey, if Nick leaves, I'll stay. Okay, that are on the record. So I'm just curious, how much of this do you have to wade through every year?
Yeah, you have to consider that. It's multi-layered for some of these guys every year. Ray and I have been doing this for 20 years. We finished first on the Huddle Report's top 100 rankings 3 times. And you're right. With some of these guys, there are so many layers that you kind of have to dive into. With Proctor, for us, if you look back to a year ago right now, he was viewed as a top 5 overall pick. So he had really high expectations coming into this past year, and he just disappointed. He was heavier than he was supposed to be. He looked slow, and he just didn't look like that same player. And then, like I mentioned, he plays offensive tackle, which is probably the 3rd most important position in the league. And he kind of lucked out that he was in a draft class that wasn't that strong at that position. The other top players had questions as well. So it's almost kind of like he got drafted based off of, hoping that last year was just a down year. But you see some of these guys, especially the guys who come in and play overweight, they get drafted and they don't, they kind of just pack it in after that. They don't. Yeah, I know that nowadays in college you kind of get your payday before you make it to the NFL, but he's very risky in the top half of the first round.
I just looked at your, early rankings for 27 and the top 40. I think you've got 8 quarterbacks right now. That's a little better than last year. And Arch at the top of it. I know there are a lot of questions about Arch Manning. We know the pedigree. We know all the things there. But this could be, as we head into 27, this could be a huge quarterback draft from what I'm seeing on your board right now.
Yeah, and so let's talk about that. So this should be a very good quarterback class. It should be a very good overall class. A lot of positions look to be very deep a year in advance. You hear people, though, talking about how there could be 10 quarterbacks or 12 quarterbacks, and I really don't think that's going to be the case. You mentioned my own 2027, early rankings. I've got 8 of them in the top, 40 or so. But here's what I think is going to happen. Think you've got guys like CJ Carr from Notre Dame and Julian Sayin from Ohio State, and they're going to be looking at some of these other prospects that have more experience. Arch Manning is going to be in next year's draft, most likely. Dante Moore is going to be in that class. They're going to be looking at guys like Lenoris Sellers for South Carolina. Does he cement himself as a top 10 pick? You've got a couple other guys. Okay, Sam Levitt. I talked about what could have happened with Sorsby and what happened with Cam Ward, where they kind of set themselves up for success by transferring for that last season. Sam Levitt's going to be with Lane Kiffin at LSU. He's got a shot. Drew Mestemaker's over at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State just spent a lot of money through the transfer portal. He's got a shot. But I think what you're going to see is some of these guys, even if they work out, are going to say, wait a minute, we're sophomores. we're not going to enter the 2027 class when there are 5 other first-round quarterbacks. We're going to just wait till 2028. And you saw that with Dante Moore this past year when he was a locked-in top 2 overall pick, and he decided to go back for 2027. So, yes, I think it's going to be a very exciting season to track quarterback prospects. And now Sorsby's going to be a parlay. He's not going in the first round anymore. But I think that you're probably going to see 5 or 6 first-round quarterbacks, and some of these guys are going to end up in 2028.
Mike Luchene, NFL talk, whether it be the draft, post-draft, pre-draft, or the quarterback who was at Texas Tech for an hour and a half and now is in no man's land. Okay, follow Mike on X at NFL Rough Draft. He writes for NFLRoughDraft.com. Mike, thanks so much for everything. Be well. We'll talk before camp.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Mike Luchene joining us once again here on Miller and Moulton.
And David, I think the point he makes about the quarterbacks, obviously, as we've talked about, NIL. If you're a guy that can make $4 or $5 million playing one more year in college, and you might not be a first-round pick, you're foolish to give it another to not give another year and improve your own draft status. Miller and Moulton. Seth Everett next.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Core-Tech and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Go!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Hi, Seth.
What's up, boys?
How are you?
I'm good. Lovely summer day.
It sure is. What's the temperature going to be here today? 90 what?
Ooh.
With humidity to match. Oh, it's cool today. It's only going to be 89 apparently.
There you go. Break out the jackets.
It's gotten so bad, Seth, because I'm not supposed to get sun with everything that's going on. I'm now wearing those sun sleeves when I play golf. They're pathetic. Big floppy hat and in sun sleeves. Look like I'm 90.
Mm-hmm.
But such is life.
Well, you could play shuffleboard.
No shuffleboard, no pickleball for me.
I have the I've had 4 of those basal cells. You guys know what that is.
I do not. What is a basal cell?
Basal cell is the good skin cancer. If you can get skin cancer, that's the one you want.
Gotcha.
So I've had 4 of them. I actually had part of my ear chopped out a bunch of years ago. But anyway, I had something on the top of my head. So I must wear a hat if I go outside.
Yeah, I was never a hat guy because I don't like them. I sweat too much. So I always wore visors when I play golf. And now I've got the floppy hat.
Yep.
Do you want some hats? Because I don't like them, and I have a bunch, but I don't wear them. But I'll only give them to people who will wear them.
I get it. No, I
They're
have
not
a collection
some of the
here.
easiest hats to get a hold of.
Yeah. I have a collection, but my current hat is an Arsenal hat. So
No, I know. Well, that's why, like, if I sent you an ESPN hat, would you ever wear it? If I
Never.
sent you a CBS Sports hat, would you ever wear it?
never.
Right. So
I have dozens of hats here.
If
But
CBS
it's more about like
I'd be in.
Say again?
If CBS Sports had a golf floppy hat, boy, would I be in.
There you go.
That would be something.
Glad the hockey trades have started. That's nice. That makes me happy.
Yeah, it's fun to watch all the hockey trades, and good to know that my GM traded a first-round pick for a number 4 defenseman.
I listened to an Arsenal podcast, and like I guess 6 of the 10 Arsenal players in the World Cup have nagging injuries. And all of a sudden, this British guy just goes, "Could we just get eliminated so we don't have to play anymore?" And I went, "Thank you."
Then no offense, these guys don't have to play. Don't play. Don't play.
Oh, they want to play. That's the whole.
No. Then shut up.
They're never going to win, so I don't know why they do play. They should probably not play.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And it's a hump day, and we're midway through the show, so you know what that means for us. It's Seth Everett time, Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. Follow him on X at Seth_Everett. He's got the kids done with school.
Oh, yeah.
One's going to college. The other's going to camp. Okay. He's got all his teaching stuff done. He's only doing podcasts 1 a week instead of 2 a week.
Yep.
So, I mean, there are some days he's not even up yet, Mark.
Party
I mean,
central.
there are times now that we're waking him up to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, you said, do you have any free time today? I said, I got nothing but time.
Seth, I thought about you yesterday. I made it
I
out.
thought about you too.
Oh, that's sweet. I went out to watch the second half of the England game yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a sponsor, the British Open Pub, and it's packed with English people, not just English fans, but the English people that live around here. That's one of the places they had to watch the game.
There's a special section for English people that are not fans.
Correct. And it occurred to me while watching that the team you root for maybe isn't as beloved as I thought, because when an Arsenal player made a mistake in the game, one of the people watching screamed in their accent, "Get all those Arsenal." And I laughed hysterically, going, "Man, I wish I'd have taped that for Seth." That
sour grapes.
Out of that.
That's fine. Sour grapes. Yeah, it was funny. Yesterday, Bukayo Saka, who's my guy, that's my favorite player. He came on like 74th minute, and he's literally waving his arms, asking them to pass him the ball. And I was like, that doesn't happen. Like he was literally like, and it would remind me of that scene in Ted Lasso when Jamie Tart goes, "Here, everybody, pass me the ball, pass me the ball, pass me the ball, please." And I thought that would have been very funny if they used him as a decoy. And I was like, yeah, you could have used the Jason Sudeikis, Ted Lasso. So yes, it was a fun game, but yeah, I would say the dude Harry Kane, he botched the open net. That was the game yesterday, not the Arsenal guys.
Oh no, it was definitely that. And I would, we said earlier, Seth, it was as much fun as I've had watching the World Cup. And there was a reason Ghana played the way they did, because getting the 1 point was more important for them than playing the way you need to play for 3, because they're trying to get out of group. That was as boring of a World Cup game as I've seen this year. That was not
that one.
Yeah, it was boring.
I didn't see it. I thought the one criticism that I've had besides these the hydration nonsense breaks, but the one criticism is that guy Zlatan, the Ibrahimovic, the announcer,
right?
There was a game. I want to say it was maybe it was Brazil or so. I don't remember who exactly was playing, but it was a scoreless tie, and this is your sport. And he said he fell asleep during the game. And I said
he was pretty funny about it, though. He said, in the first half, I almost fell asleep.
Yeah, and then the second half.
Okay, and so I woke myself up at halftime to make sure that I would stay awake in the second half. And the second half definitely put me to sleep.
I know. And my question, I get, it's more of a question isn't this what you're trying to sell? Like, even if that's the case, even if that game was boring, which I didn't think it was boring. I was watching that game. You don't say that on your broadcast.
Why not? No, if the game sucks, say it. No,
yeah, I think you got to look it. I enjoy it more when he just abuses Alexei Lawless. I mean, that is made for some of the most entertaining. I mean, this is second to Inside the NBA because the abuse that Lawless is getting from him is unbelievable. And I'm with David. I want honesty. If it sucks,
but honesty, okay. But what I like, for example, when Barkley, when the Knicks came back from 29 down, and Barkley says the Spurs are the stupidest team going. That was terrible. What I didn't hear him say is, I couldn't watch that second half. Like, I don't know. And maybe I don't see enough of it. I just thought when you're selling something, when you're selling a broadcast, when you're selling a sport to a public, that you're trying to appeal to the non-fan, because they do a lot of stuff in those broadcasts that are for the non-fan, not the fan. Not the P1. I don't know. I feel like that's like when in superhero movies, don't demean your characters. Like, don't demean your product to get a laugh. That's my only take.
I have a question, and I haven't asked this of Mark either. You okay with all the international broadcasters on Fox's World Cup coverage?
Well, I want them. I don't like the American announcers.
Okay.
No disrespect to them. I'm sure they're fine people, but I want the Brits. Get me the Brits on there on the broadcast.
And Mark, I mean, it's one thing like in golf, you and I have said they can't find enough American announcers. It seems like so many of the announcers that are being hired now are coming straight from the European Champions Tour. And it's like, why is that the case? Meanwhile, in soccer, you do have to go to other countries to find the experts because we're not good enough at it.
Yeah, John Strong talking about MLS, talking about the Orlando team and the Washington team. I just get me the Brits. I want the British dudes.
I don't know what her name is, and and this is, I don't care if I'm watching a female sporting event to have a female doing all females. That's fine. But there's one lady who's doing the play-by-play on Friday, and she's British.
Yep.
And I did find it funny because I have had to listen to some games, and Fox, who has the rights, is just giving you a simulcast on radio, on Fox Sports Radio, which is annoying to me because it's a tough listen. Because you mean
on Sirius XM?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So you're getting a simulcast, and it's very different. When you're doing TV, you sit back. You don't announce every movement. Where on radio, you're painting a picture. I got a kick out of listening, and I'm not knocking her because I guess I can let females with a British accent do games because it just entertains me.
Right.
But they look.
She was American, she would be terrible.
But they look so hard for the right adjective to describe the play, and she was a little behind the play and searching for the adjective. I literally nearly was wiping tears out of my eyes in the car. I was laughing so hard. Because I'm saying,
you guys reminded me of a story that I haven't told you guys, I don't think, but I've said it on my podcast. The two Hall of Fame announcers in Seattle, Dave Grosby and Mike Gastineau. You know who they are. They've done Afternoon Drive in Seattle for 30 years. They're radio Hall of Famers, right? There was a Thursday night game between the Seahawks and the Rams on Amazon Prime.
Yep.
And Mike Gastineau, who lives on Whidbey Island in Washington State, which is a remote island, he lost power. So he explains in painful detail how he is trying to get a cell signal just to put the game on Amazon Prime on his phone. And the other host, again, they are radio Hall of Famers, says, "Hey, Mike, did you ever consider going in your car and turning on the radio?" He goes, "Never dawned on me." We're so conditioned now. that we never even think about radio. And these guys are radio Hall of Famers. So it's just funny that Fox wouldn't have radio announcers. They would only put the TV broadcast, because when there's a sporting event on in my car, I put it on whatever app it is, and I put the audio on, and I drive my car, and that's how we listen to things.
But the Sirius FC channel is not giving you a radio broadcast.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I didn't know that.
And it's you're right, Seth. But it's I'm not blaming the announcer in that case. I'm blaming Fox because the announcer
or Sirius for not. Yeah.
You have to cater to television when you're doing a broadcast. I mean,
Agreed.
It's while, but at the same time, as someone who did years ago who did simulcast of hockey broadcast, I kind of catered not only to the radio but to the hockey fan. Like, to me, how you said you got new fans coming on. I think you need more explanation in the play-by-play. I think you need more of who the players are, because we're not familiar in this country.
And I think Derek Ray is one of the British announcers. I think he's great at it. There's a couple of other announcers. They have British announcers. It's just my personal preference. I like the British dudes. It's nothing against the American announcers, but especially for the England game, get me somebody British. Where's John Champion?
It's Rebecca Lowe, right? The host.
Yes. Oh, she's the host. She's the best. She's absolute
tremendous.
best.
I do have a question, though, and see if anybody else feels this way going forward. I feel as if she gets more British as the tournament goes on. Okay. I felt the first days of the tournament, I had no trouble understanding her. Now I feel as if the accent is being applied on, like an extra layer of cheese to the pizza. I'm just like, what? Did we get a little more British? Do we get more British once we get to the latter half of the week? What is going on here?
Certainly during the England games, David.
Well, I thought they did remarkable. The game that was delayed by lightning, the game in Philly that was delayed by light, they filled for like an hour, and I thought they were really good. I thought they, that's stretch. That is the definition of stretch. And wow, I thought that was good. She does the Premier League on.
Oh, NBC. I know. She's considered the best, and she is the best.
And she won't come on Sports with Friends, so it makes me want her more.
Every network pays for her. Like, if CBS Soccer has a major event, they pay to have her. If NBC pays her the most, but she already has it where her agent, she can work anything at any time. She's that big.
Kate Scott is the other one. She's on CBS, and I think Rebecca Lowe's better than Kate Scott.
Well, what's better this week, Sports with Friends or Hall of Justice? What do we got, Seth?
Sports with Friends, Hall of Famer, John Smoltz. Very good interview. He talks a lot about how he's trying to qualify for the senior tour, and how Fox lets him get out of broadcasting games if he qualifies for the senior tour. It's the American Century Championship, which is coming up in July in Lake Tahoe. John Smoltz. He also talks about managers today and how he's dissatisfied with the way teams are going with managers, and whether or not it's appropriate to say that Shohei Ohtani is the best ever. It's an interesting take on his that he says on the podcast.
John Smoltz, who qualified for the 2018 U.S. Senior Open, who was out in Colorado.
2018,
he did not make the cut. And he talked about, boy, it's a little harder out here than the local muni. Seth Everett, Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. Follow him at X, Seth_Everett.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Mark Miller.
Do you have anything here?
Yeah, a little thing.
Okay.
I'll try to make this fast because we've only got about 25 seconds. But one of the things I can get is these rashes from what I had. It's a graft versus host disease, and so I'm doing the Zoom call yesterday, and I had to take my shirt off. It's as close as I've ever come to being naked on camera.
Okay.
That's all I got for you.
Any shrieks or any?
No.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. We are 66 days away from the start of college football season. 9 weeks Saturday is when week 0 gets underway. 77 days away, 11 weeks tonight. Seahawks host the Patriots. Wednesday night football to kick off the season. And then Niners Rams from Australia. And they take Friday off and, what have you.
By the way, World Cup averaging about 6 million viewers per game right now. Now, obviously, the U.S. games are doing monster numbers. I'll be curious what England's match yesterday does, because Argentina and Algeria did over 9. Brazil versus Morocco did 10 million viewers on Fox. It's a non-U.S. men's team record.
Okay. The British match yesterday was Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. So I'd like to, look back up and remember what days were those other games weekend games? Were they weekday games? Were they primetime games? But Tuesday, 4 o'clock.
Right.
Was the game yesterday.
You're probably onto something with when those games were played. And I'm just trying to go through and check quickly. And I'm not that good.
I'll bet you 7.5 for Britain yesterday in the States.
I would think so.
And that's
Morocco was a Saturday game for what it's worth.
Okay.
Middle of the day. Now that I look, and I do actually remember that.
Okay.
The Argentina game, I've passed it and I didn't see it. So Argentina, Algeria was a late game, prime time on Tuesday.
Okay.
So, but just all in all, 6 million average viewers through the first 16 group stage matches.
Right. Matches on either Fox or FS1.
Right.
Yep.
Right. That does not include the Spanish language ratings, which that increases it by a lot.
Correct. In some cases, double.
Right. 7.5 million viewers on Spanish language through the first 12 matches.
Right.
Mexico and South Korea apparently did 25 million viewers. I think that's Mexico and the U.S. So, but regardless, it's doing very well. We are watching in a big way this tournament. I mean, 6 million viewers on average. Even if you throw the U.S. out, that's still probably going to give you 4-ish. That's really good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And this is programming. I mean, think about it. You've got 3 matches, 2 of them not in prime time every day, every weekday anyway. So, no, this is outstanding. But, Mark, let's face it, it has filled, first off, we've become, the demographics of this country are much more favorable to soccer as a sport, number one. Okay, number two, we have become a much more educated fan base, just generic sports fans. We enjoy the beautiful game more now than we did casually a generation ago. It's grown on us. We understand it. We will give it, and these games have consequences, and that's the number one requirement to get a TV rating.
No doubt. And It's why NBC and CBS are spending lots of money for the Premier League, for the Champions League, and all of these things. And I have for years started watching the Premier League on Saturday mornings. I don't need 3 hours of game day. I don't. Sunday morning. I don't need all the pregame stuff. I've talked about it for 5 days on the show. I don't need any more. I don't need a Tom Rinaldi make me cry story. I want to watch the games. And if there's a game on, I was putting it on in the background, and now we're even a little more familiar with who's playing. But while those numbers are up, David, I have some depressing numbers.
Uh-oh.
It's about beer. David, we've had the worst decade of beer production. We're not drinking beer the way we used to. And it occurred to me, it's not our fault. It's young people's fault. They're not drinking the way they once did. And I'll say it because of this. So I'm watching, I have a TikTok problem. I will fully admit that. And while I'm watching a little soccer occasionally, I'll be flipping my phone from one video to the next. And here's some kid with bad hair who looks to be, I don't even know if he's drinking aged, has this thing that he says, $1 million if your friend drinks 100 beers in 2 weeks. Who you calling? Well, I have a buddy who's not on TikTok, but I just took a screenshot of that because the words are up there. And I said, 2 weeks. I said, one, I'd pick you, and I think if push came to shove, you could do it in 2 days. And he said 3-4 tops. 2 weeks for 100 beers? What the hell's going on with this I'm not picking on them. They're going to do their own thing. That's fine. Kids all change. 2 weeks for 100 beers? That's not even, what's that, like 7 a day?
7 a day will get you to 98. Yep.
I can drink 7 on the front 9.
Well, I mean, there are no activities associated with this. There's a round of golf would take care of this and no problem.
I mean, the invitational at my club is Wednesday, with the practice round is Wednesday through Saturday, and I know that I'm doing 150 beers without batting an eye.
4 days.
Oh, 5 days. Okay, 100 beers for sure. 100 beers for sure over the course of 5 days.
Okay.
Come on. 100 beers in 2 weeks. What the hell is going on? We need to give these kids some lessons here. This is embarrassing. I mean, you fishermen out there, those of you that know that you can't either, some of you play the game, and I get the game. Can't crack the beer until you catch the first fish. Okay. Then there are others of you that once the boat leaves the dock, you're cracking a beer. That's my kind of people right there.
But aren't the authorities making it a lot harder? I mean, when you and I were growing up, I mean, were they really pulling up alongside of us when we were fishing? Okay.
Well, I guess usually in the past, probably 20, 30 times that I've been out fishing, I've been on a charter boat. And I have a sober boat driver. So I've never even considered, and the boat's picking me up at the place that I'm staying at. So I am never getting behind the wheel of a car. They've never had it easier, David. These kids today they have Uber.
No, I know.
I mean, I think it said that Derek Stope talks about, the comedian does a great bit in which he says, you've never been at a stranger's house and trying to figure out how to get home because your ride left. You've never woke up in a living room with mom making breakfast going, where am I? I mean,
Yep.
I'm from a hick town. I mean, I'm from the township of a city, but I'm not from the city part of it. We went out in the country to party as kids. I mean, we were 20 miles away from civilization. If you didn't catch a ride, you were in trouble. So 100 beers in 2 weeks. I was embarrassed by that. I felt horribly for that kid. He has no idea.
So my daughter asked me a little while back, so when's the first time you remember drinking? And I go, well, I could tell you exactly where it took place. And she said, let me guess, you were out with your dad. And I go, no, surprisingly, I was with my grandparents. And I could tell you who gave me my first beer. I was probably 7, 8 years old, and it was my grandfather. And my daughter looked at me, and I go, oh, yeah. Instead of orange juice, he filled up the juice glass with Rheingold and said, here, you should try this. It puts hair on your chest.
Yeah, I remember with my grandfather, similar story, about same age. They'd all have a shot in a beer, and he'd pour a tiny little bit of whiskey for me.
Yep.
I was 7 or 8. Miller and Moulton.
Go!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio, with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
How did I fall for the clickbait, Ryan? I fell for the clickbait. I read an article that showed beer production in the last decade. It's just facts. I guess I fall for a lot of clickbait, Ryan. We got to do 4 hours every day. I'm guessing I click more than the average person. It wasn't clickbait. It was a TikTok video. So it's not really clickbait. And again, Ryan, I do a 4-hour show every day, Monday through Friday. I have got to kill 12 segments a day. So if me taking a snapshot of a video that I saw, sending it to a buddy to have a couple of laughs back and forth is clickbait in your opinion, so be it. To me, I thought it was funny. I laughed. I got to have a little fun with the show. You obviously didn't like the segment. Oh, well, I'll try again next segment. Craft breweries way down, Logic Man, according to the article that I read. In fact, it literally talks about the craft breweries that craft beer sales fell 3% from last year. Craft beer accounts 13% of total beer production. 307 breweries closed last year. Only 5 states saw the number of craft breweries rise. The only states were Alaska, Hawaii, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, and Kentucky were the only ones that had a increase. Hey, Riggs.
How are you?
Good. I didn't realize you were coming on this way. I was just about to look up your phone number. I was told by my co-host.
Yeah, good to see you guys.
Yeah, you also. Thanks for doing it this way. It sounds better, and we get to see you.
Yeah, hopefully I don't get any, the good old spam calls in the middle of the interview, which is a staple these days.
It's funny. So I've moved my studio to my house for a lot of different reasons, but I've got this new board, and it's terrific, and I can Bluetooth a caller in. And damned if I don't, every time I've got a call on, that I'll get a call during the show, and all of a sudden I'm with the thing beeping. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yep, because I do it right through the computer, and I mean, you know the world I live in. I don't go anywhere without my computer, so my phone goes to it, so I get my messages, calls. Inevitably, I apologize in advance for a spam call coming through and you hear ringing.
No worries.
Is that a Knicks hat?
It is. The first haul of merch is starting to come in.
So how many of the 53 did you have to suffer through? And I mean, like, when you first became a fan of the Knicks?
Not 94 and 99. So I was
Gotcha.
94, I was 7. So
Gotcha.
that was like
Yeah.
one of the first true, that was the first true heartbreak for me. I like remember being where I was for all the
For Game 7.
Game 7, the OJ Chase game. We had a party at my dad's parents' house. So I remember like they had a split level. So we were like in the bottom level of it. 99, it was just like, all right, it's the Spurs.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
2 minutes at the top of the hour. I said we had a really good show lined up for you. We think we've delivered. And that includes our next guest, Bobby Reagan. Covers hoops for Barstool Sports. Maybe it's why you follow him on X at Barstool Reags. Barstool, Reags. Your thoughts on, I don't know if the draft is the right question, but part of the reason why we reached out to you, besides the fact that we love talking to you, is as I'm watching the draft last night, I'm realizing, man, the talent was even better than I thought. And I thought this was a great year. I mean, Mark and I were on the bandwagon. 72 hours season was old. We're telling everybody, don't miss anything. This is going to be a phenomenal year. Bobby, I mean, when the guy going 7th in the draft leads the SEC in scoring and assists, and he's only the second player to do it, I mean, man, this draft was loaded.
I mean, how many people knew Steinbach from Washington? That guy was an elite player, but he played in Washington, bad year. Right in the last pick of the lottery, first pick out of the lottery, wherever, I forget what number he fell at, 14, 15, somewhere. No, 15 was Swain. Another good example, like Dylan Swain from Xavier in Texas. The depth, put it this way, Isaiah Evans is still available. I think even most casual college basketball fans know Isaiah Evans because he played at Duke. He was their second best player. And he's still available. That's how deep this draft is. That's how good college basketball was last year. I'm going to miss it because that felt like a once every, 15, 20 year type talent pool that we had in college basketball. So, yeah, I mean, I think the draft highlighted that, right? Where you kind of had the tiers of guys, but that's, projecting to NBA careers. Really, it was just college basketball, college basketball, college basketball, college basketball, the whole way through. You got what, 2 international players? So
Yeah,
it just
2.
yeah, so it really showed one that some of these, it didn't happen this year, but a lot of these international guys are coming to college basketball because you're going to start seeing, like Steinbach from Washington of guys with international success being able to play college basketball when they come over at 20 years old or whatever. But it's just, I don't know if I've ever been more excited to watch a summer league game because these guys are going to be playing against each other. And then you get what used to be fun about summer league is it was hey, remember that guy that was in college forever who was like an all SEC player? He's fighting for the last spot for, I don't know, the Cavs. You're going to get that all throughout. And I can't wait. The draft, it just showed the riches that college basketball had this past year.
Well, and you're right. Only 2 international players. And then, there was 6 seniors, but there are a bunch of other later, the non, like the second round is going to be for someone who loves college basketball. You can actually watch the second round of the draft and you go, oh, I know all those guys.
Yeah, it's not the draft and stash.
The 4-year guy now gets drafted on day 2. And these are, some of these teams, it's a weird draft because there are a bunch of teams that don't have second round picks. And there are a bunch of teams with 3 picks in the second round. But there are guys that can fill out a roster today. So it shows, NIL is obviously working with college basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Players are getting paid, and it's making some of them stay longer in college if they're not going to be prime NBA players. But I do think today, like you mentioned, the kid from Duke, David talked earlier, Smith from Purdue was there for 4 years. I mean, there are guys that we're going to know that are going to get drafted today that are probably going to be decent, bench players in the NBA.
I mean, you mentioned just not only those, Malik Thomas, right? Arkansas. The second guy on that Arkansas team. Ryan Conwell, Louisville. Richie Saunders, who people would have known way more if he didn't blow out his knee in the middle of this past season, right? He was really the key to that BYU team with DeBonsa. Emmanuel Sharp still available. Dylan Mitchell still available. Jaden Bradley, Jacoby Gillespie, like just Bryce Hopkins, guys that college basketball fans have watched and know. And it's interesting that it's a second round, one having its own night for what I think is the 3rd or 4th year now. And the fact that we're not getting the draft and stashes as much, but you also get teams going, hey, we can take guys in the second round because of the rookie scale. We can save money. For instance, like that's why the Knicks kept trading out of the first round so they could try to keep the group together now. Basically, if they would have drafted 24, Mitchell Robinson would have to go somewhere else. But they look at the depth of the talent and go, hey, we can take a guy that'll save us $3 million because we have picked 37 versus 24. And then you get the 2-way deals and the positioning. It's if you're a nerd in the sense of how front offices work and the salary cap works, the second round becomes very interesting because 1, it's the names you know, and 2, how people maneuver and go, okay, like let's not take this guy here. We can sign him on an undrafted deal. And you get these, Austin Reeves notoriously told guys like, don't draft him. He wanted to go to the Lakers when it got to pick like 53 or whatever. So it is an interesting thing, and it just amplifies with names that everybody knows.
Bobby, Reagan, college hoops for the most part. We're talking basketball, pro and college. And let's face it, they're getting paid a lot of money in college. So Bobby now covers pro basketball exclusively for Barstool. Okay, follow him on X at Barstool Reags, Barstool REAGS. Your thoughts on Dusty May? I don't know why. I think Mark considered it much more in play much sooner than I did. The Tennessee baseball coach is now managing the San Francisco Giants. I guess I should have considered this as more possible than it caught me the other day. Because, it caught me like a heavyweight right hand and knocked me down. I was like, whoa, where's this coming from?
Yeah, it's shocking and it's not. The I don't want to say it's a secret because it really wasn't a secret. It was an open secret that Dusty May always wanted to be an NBA head coach. He had talked, I think, with Norlander about it at some point during the tournament run. It was pretty open. Like, yeah, at some point in my future, I want to give it a try. There are only 30 jobs in the NBA. And, there are two ways to look at this. And I think they're fair. That one, yes, a lot of these guys are kind of annoyed with how the college game is. But I don't think that's why I'm not going to sit there and scream the game's falling apart because Dusty May left for the NBA. The second side is he gets a chance to coach Cooper Flagg, a top 10 pick who he took one of his own, Amores Johnson, a team with recent success, a history of decent success. How do you pass that up? Because if he ever gets fired from Dallas, guess what? Every college opening is calling him first.
No doubt.
And schools will fire their coach to hire Dusty May. So it's yes, you couldn't have left at a worse time, but you also couldn't leave at a better time on a personal standpoint of, hey, I'm giving this a try with who's supposed to be the next phenom in the league, a place with well-known success. And if I fail, I get to pick whatever job I want next, as opposed to, let's say he does the Kevin Ollie, where he just kind of, falters out. I don't, I would have been shocked if it happened. But if he ends up getting fired from Michigan in 2 years because he misses the tournament, and then you're like, okay, I guess I'll go, I don't know, to the American and coach another team or whatever, or a bottom tier, power conference team. I don't like when people overreact just because a coach leaves the game's gone. He's the first college coach to leave for the NBA since John Beilein. And, I see people throwing him in the list with Kay, Roy Williams, Boeheim, Wright, and Tony Bennett as coaches who have retired or left the game. People kind of forget the majority of those guys are old. Like, Jim Boeheim's 89 years old or whatever he is. Of course he was going to retire. It just, things need to be fixed in college basketball. But guess what? Like, we're coming off the best year the sport has had, and we all cheer for Laundry, right? When I watch Blue and White Kentucky, I'm watching it. I don't care how much they're getting paid. I just want to I want the team that I cheer for to win. I don't necessarily care. It gets lost in that, but it stinks. I think Dusty May is an incredible coach. I thought he's great for college basketball. He's part of this new age when you look at him and Hurley and a lot of and Golden and a lot of these younger guys kind of, as the Caliparis and Selfs and Izzos and Patinos retire, this next wave to kind of bring college basketball, keep it moving. So it stinks from a fan standpoint, but I don't blame him one bit. You get one of the 30 jobs with a team that has Cooper Flagg and the makeup to be successful. How do you say no to that?
Well, let's look at Michigan going forward, because I made the comparison. Harbaugh was there. He left.
Yeah.
They went interim coach. We all know what a disaster Sherman Moore was. I think they fixed it right away with their hire out of Utah.
Yes.
But for next year, Michigan, they're spending money. And when Michigan's spending money, they're going to be good. They've got as much money, if not more than most everybody out there. Should they have gone? They've named the interim. I don't know if that's for sure. Should they be going out and getting Nate Oates? Should they be going out finding somebody? Or do you think they can keep on keeping on without getting a known commodity at head coach?
So this is the one interesting point with, they elevated Mike Boynton to interim coach. He has head coach experience at Oklahoma State. He got a little railroaded there with the penalties handed down from the dumbest FBI investigation into college basketball of all time that did absolutely nothing but penalize guys that shouldn't have been penalized. So he got a little railroaded at Oklahoma State. He at least has experience coaching high major conference basketball with stars. He coached, he was there with Cade Cunningham and he knows at least how to navigate the world of high major college basketball. So I think for this year, it did make sense to, hey, we want to keep this group together. We have a group that is coming off a title that we put together to make another run. They should be, they are on that short list of teams that can make another run. So I think it makes sense for this year. What I don't like is when teams overreact and like the interim coach, you see it in football all the time, right? Interim coach comes in, they go 3-1 down the stretch, and it's like, we got our guy. And it's like, well, you're on a 4-game sample size and you play 2 teams that were ready just for the season to end. So you can't really do it that way. You're Michigan though, right? Like if you decide Boynton's the guy, fine. Like I have no problem with that. He knows the system. He at least has experience. If you don't think Boynton's the guy, the moment the season ends, I'm spending as much money and calling whoever I want because Michigan does have basically unlimited money.
Well, you got to think Billy Donovan's going to be watching a lot of Michigan basketball this year.
Yeah.
Now, I know it's been a long time, but, when you're there, there's not as big a difference between college and pro as there used to be.
No, he's in a much better spot to take over a college team.
Yeah. And so, the Florida one has come and gone. They're probably not going to be knocking anytime soon. Okay, Billy may have to go college. I know he wanted to stay NBA. Billy may have to go college.
He could. We see Michael Malone do it, right? Took the Carolina job.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that I'm still curious to see how that works out. But Donovan, it's interesting because that's Dusty May, right? He left Florida at the right time after 2 titles, another trip to the Final Four. He was okay in the NBA. He didn't blow the doors off. He didn't win he was fine. And still it's 2026 and everyone's like, we gotta call Billy Donovan first. And it's like, well, are we sure? Like he hasn't coached in college since 2014?
Right.
I do think he's now shaped up better to take over because he doesn't have to go to a gym in, upstate New York to watch a kid and call him all the time to convince him to come to whatever school he's at. He can just, hey, GM, talk to the agent. Let's get that. This is the guy I want. Can we just get this done? So he does have kind of that experience, obviously, from the NBA. But if I'm Michigan, I do think if Boynton's not the guy, Nate Oates has to be your first call, right?
He's sure.
I agree.
Okay.
He's a Michigan guy. Like he's from Michigan. It makes sense. He does have Alabama rolling by Alabama standards, but I think that's the guy you got to call.
Bobby Reagan, Barstool, College Hoop. Talk a little NBA draft and the future of college hoops with Bobby Reagan of Barstool. Follow him on X at Barstool Reags, R-E-A-G-S, Barstool Reags. Bobby, have a great summer, and we'll talk when the leaves are thinking about
Sounds good. Thank you.
Bobby Reagan, here on Miller and Moulton.
Go! This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Did my LSU summer school yesterday, and it looked as if Bud thinks they could be favored in every game.
Huh.
He said Texas will be close, but he thinks they could be favored in every game.
He likes them over Bama, huh?
Are they playing them at home? I don't even know. I didn't have the schedule in front of me.
But so this is an even year. They play even years at home.
He doesn't think that highly of Bama. I mean, the point that he made is it's the lowest over-under win total since before Saban. For what it's worth. Like I said, I get on the treadmill and I listen.
Right. Hey.
I do it at whoever was the one that shared with me first to do the podcast at 1.5 speed is brilliant. And I thank you every time I get on, because then it also plays a trick on me because I do a half hour uphill on the treadmill and then like a 5-minute warm down. But when it's a 34-minute podcast, I have to start figuring out in my head when it's going to be done, and then how many songs I'll be able to listen to after, because I'm a big believer that I can't be looking at the time while I'm on the treadmill. I go nuts. Nuts. Yeah, bourbon's even worse than that, Johnny Finger Lakes. So people are not drinking as much, period. And I did realize that these THC drinks I'm fascinated by because I don't know how they get away with it. And now I read up as how they do that. It's amazing to me that in states where weed isn't legal, you can sell weed drinks. It doesn't seem to make any sense, but you can because it's a weight thing. And when you put it in liquid form, the weight goes to next to nothing. So it's fascinating to me.
Can somebody explain to me how DraftKings can?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Pro Hour, the bonus hour of Miller and Moulton on this hump day. If you missed Mike Luchene, Seth Everett, Bobby Reagan, who were in our first part of our show, go to millermoulton.com, download what you missed. Think you'll like what you hear. Lively show today. So much to talk about. I mean, we've hardly gotten into the PGA Tour splitting in two.
Well, and I'm kind of glad we haven't because I saw it. I read what they're doing. I actually admitted on the show that I listened to PGA radio yesterday,
right,
talking about it. So that was, something I don't normally do. Like I listen to live golf on PGA radio. I'm a weirdo. I actually like golf play-by-play on the radio. They crack me up. Just like I mentioned the gal on the Fox soccer broadcast trying to find the right adjective. The golf person having to get excited about the shot while maintaining the golf voice all at the same time, to me is just fantastic radio. I'm a radio nerd, but that to me cracks me right up because they're trying to walk this fine line of being excited, but yet being a golf announcer. And I think it's great. So I happened to flip it on for a half a second yesterday, and they were talking about the tour and where it's going. And the host didn't seem to think that the money that Roll-Up thinks is out there is there. And that, for PGA Tour radio or any golf media to immediately criticize the commissioner of the tour, president of the tour, whatever the hell he is, that quickly is unique. They seem to think that the lower events would do just fine. I wonder a lot about that. I mean, we already had the Corn Ferry Tour. What do we need the Challenger Tour for?
Are these tournaments going to be relegated to the Golf Channel? And I said that in the exact vocabulary that I wanted to use. Relegated. Because that's what early round coverage of these main tournaments are. They're relegated to the Golf Channel. They air them there because they have no other place to air them. They don't get 1 million viewers.
And I don't think they would get 1 million viewers if they were on CBS or NBC, David.
Yeah, I don't know that they would either.
And, I wish I would have done this, and I probably can look it up quickly. But are golf ratings up in the same fashion that other sports are up?
Yes, is my understanding.
Because the golf audience is pretty built in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, take the majors out. Golf does what golf does. So when the NBA is getting all the money they're getting for television rights, and we'll see where Major League Baseball goes because they had trouble getting deals. MLS, and I'm not trying to compare MLS to the PGA Tour, but they went to just Apple. It's not worked for them. Hockey's on 2 networks. It had a great playoff. The regular season wasn't good until post-Olympic coverage. So I get that the advertiser, David, who advertises for golf is very specific and they do very well by it. High-end car companies, investment groups. We know who the golf advertiser is. But how much more do they really want to shell out for the audience that doesn't change all that much?
Pre-Masters, CBS's ratings are up 16% this year. 4 million, basically a tournament. So if you do the math, that's about 500,000 more viewers for the same tournaments this year as you had last year. Okay. But that's on CBS, and that's Saturdays and Sundays. You want to know how many people are watching round 2 action at 3 o'clock on Friday? 10% of that. So that's, like, here's what I wonder. NASCAR has got, and listen, I know you don't like NASCAR, but I know you pay attention to their whole TV package, and you know what it used to be. Everybody knew the network it was on, what time the races were on. That seemingly was 800 years ago. Now,
but I actually think it's a smart comparison. Like, it's a niche sport. Golf is a niche sport. 2 completely different audiences, but one caters to its sponsor better than any other on the planet.
Right. And so, NASCAR's had a couple ups and downs since Earnhardt's death. Golf's had their Tiger moments, etc. By the way, that's another sidebar thing. We had a Tiger sighting yesterday.
Yeah, he's out of rehab, everybody. Last I knew, he was in rehab. That's how much I've paid attention to one Tiger Woods.
I knew he was back in the States, but I thought it was interesting that he decided to make his first public appearance this.
Well, did he get any questions? I didn't think he did. I looked briefly, but I didn't think there was a Q&A with him.
Yeah, I don't know that he took questions. I thought he just released quotes that the PGA Tour used in their statement.
Right. I mean, that's why he chose that, because he didn't have to speak to anybody. He'll answer questions when he goes to court.
Yeah, really. He'll answer questions on court TV. He's walking out of the courthouse. But in all seriousness, NASCAR right now, they've got their main races on like 4 different channels. It's confusing. Let's just say it wasn't confusing, though. I don't know how many people watch the secondary racing series. It's the truck series, okay? Or is that considered the third series?
No, that's the third. The truck's the third. The what was the Xfinity, and I don't know who the sponsor is right now, so I apologize.
But I know the network that carries all the races. It's the CW. Okay, and they considered it a coup. Okay, they have all of the second tier races. How many people watch?
David, what? Hell, how many people before David said the CW knew where you could find it?
And so now, where am I going to find? Because here's the other thing, by the way. Do you know in 2028, Bay Hill could be a Challenger Series event? Arnie's tournament. Listen, I'm telling you right now, and I don't care how this sounds, the minute Jack dies, the Memorial becomes the Challenger Series event. Half the guys on tour don't even like the course. Okay? Plus, I think you're going to have certain issues. Like, I think Spieth and Scheffler and a few of the Texas guys, they're going to want to play these Texas tournaments.
They're not allowed, according to what was said yesterday.
I know. And that's not allowed. Okay, you're from Michigan. You can't play the Challenger Series event in Michigan? Seriously? You're from Minnesota? You can't play the one there? It's the middle of the summer. You've played your 3/4, if not more, of your tournaments. You've played your majors. What do you mean I can't go to Minneapolis and play the 3M?
Well, here's the golf things, David. All your points well taken. They're going to do now 24 events, and that includes the majors and the President/Ryder Cup. So that's 19 other events on this tour. Now, we just had, how many signature events are we doing right now? 6 or 8? 8. So we're going, think about this, David. We're going from 8 to 19. Do you know what that means? These guys are going to skip more of those events. They are. They're not playing all of them. That's the first thing. 2, what you pointed out. Guy wants to go play in the Colonial, which is now a challenger event, and he's being told, no, you can't.
Right. And oh, by the way, he's the number 1 or 2 golfer in the world. I tell the PGA Tour to pound sand.
Well, David, it's funny. You don't think that some of these players weren't brought into this discussion? Come on, they were brought in.
I understand, but I'd go to court over this. I want to play the Nelson. These guys were really good to me. I mean, they all have these stories. By the way, sponsors exemptions, think of the past.
Yeah, those are
the
done.
past.
And what I find, the Tiger part of this, not with our little side jokes, he's the chairman of this committee. Yeah. I'm sorry. You're not even on the damn tour anymore. Why are we using what outside of being one of the greatest players ever? What is it that Tiger knows about running a tour? You know, and here Roll-Up was a football guy. We've got a football guy and a guy that played golf, and they're determining the future of a tour that's been around for a lot of years and was pretty successful the way that it was.
2 years ago, they had a choice. Listen to Rory or listen to Tiger. They told Rory, get the hell out of the room and don't turn around and look back. Couldn't kick him out fast enough.
So I have a lot of questions about this, David, and you and I talk more golf than any other show regional out there in the country. We know where our audience is. We're in Tampa, St. Pete. We're in Jacksonville. We're in Southwest Florida. They're big golf markets.
Yeah. But also, what network's going to carry the Challenger? I mean, seriously, is Fox going to pick up the Challenger series?
Why?
Well, it's a way to get in with the PGA Tour. They've never been in. And they've always had some interest in golf. They can't get in.
I think Roll-Up believes that I would expect that series to go to a streaming. I would. Because the one thing about it, David, is however many watch it, it's a very affluent audience. And it has a built-in advertiser deck. But the 20 to 30 million for these signature events, and you've got 19, 20 of them, I'm curious if they're able to find that many sponsors. I really am.
And they're going to want 8 to 10 million for these Challenger series? Yeah. Good luck.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This
sound.
is Miller and Moulton.
He'll resurface in January when he gets picked up by some team in the UFL and he's working out with them.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. You missed Mike Luchene, Seth Everett, Bobby Reagan. Go to millerandmoulton.com and download what you missed. Pat Kerwin will join us on the show tomorrow to talk all things NFL. And we all tried to tell you last week during Pat's weekly visit that the NFL was not going to have a supplemental draft for Sorsby and that the league wanted no part of him in their league coming up. And this is how they were going to do it. And we were right. Not right about everything. Hell, sometimes not right about most things. But we're right about that. So for those of you sick of this story, another day of it. And then you'll be Sorsby free for 6-7 months.
Thereabouts. I mean, I think if he plays in the UFL, it'll come up. I actually think it would help their ratings a little bit.
Yeah. And I think, January, they start holding tryouts, start putting their teams together. And, I will say this, 10 seconds, I promise. Why doesn't that league play the week in between the conference championship games and the Super Bowl? Why doesn't that league play the night before the Super Bowl? Would it be crazy to play noon on Super Bowl Sunday? I mean, they don't get any cooperation from the league as it is. I mean, they have an officiating agreement. That's it. I mean, I'm just wondering, why wait another week or two? Just a thought.
Well, what are the days again? I don't know if you still have them in front of you.
Oh, yeah, 66 and 77.
66 days, as many of you know, and we had Bud Elliott on a week and a half ago or so, just to pick this with that case that was going on, as well as some other things. And I wanted to help him promote his summer school. For those of you that are into podcasts and like all of college football, it's a great place to listen to get a little insight on your team. And yesterday was my LSU day. And listening, and you're getting their 24/7 guy, the guy who covers that particular school, whoever it may be. So for the most part, I don't want to say they're hype machines, but obviously they're drinking the Kool-Aid of whatever team it is. But listening to the LSU thing, the one part of it that I found interesting is that we all think of Lane a little bit as the Mr. Hollywood guy. He's got that persona about him. Great on social media, good-looking guy. He's kind of did the Vanity Fair interview. There's a certain way we think about Lane. And this guy said, I did too. And then we went to practice. And wow, does he yell at guys for not being tough. He goes, you thought Brian, if you were to say, Brian Kelly would be the more hardcore guy, it ain't close in practice. The physicality that Lane wants and the way he throws guys out of a drill and things like that. I was like, wow, that's interesting. I learned a little something yesterday because I wouldn't expect him, I would think players coach with Lane more than anything else. But Bud Elliott said that LSU could be favored in every game they play. They host Texas, for what it's worth, the week after they host Alabama. That's
a pretty interesting November SEC schedule.
It sure is. And they go back to back with at Ole Miss and home for A&M in September. So just for what it's worth, I've checked out the Gators one, and I've checked out the Michigan one, and I listened to UCF So I've caught a few here and there, and the Phil Steele book has arrived. So I've gone off the digital platform with the Phil Steele magazine to the actual printable, more really small, need a magnifying glass reader's version. So I'm starting to jump into college football and not dive in, but I'm starting to jump in. By the way, yesterday, the other thing that happened is the 5-year eligibility thing apparently is going to happen.
Well, what's the joke now? The 1999 college football national championship could never happen again with Vic and Winky, because I guess we're never going to have a Winky.
Right.
Again. He's going to be too old, and he will have used up his 5 years in baseball. So the funny thing is that now, when it's the Wild Wild West, Chris Winkie will be ineligible. Not 25 plus years ago, when people were freaking out that a nearly 30-year-old guy was quarterbacking Florida State.
And for the handful of you that like college hockey, this is an issue in college hockey because they start the eligibility post high school. All these kids that are going to play in the United States Hockey League and do 2 years post high school junior hockey before they start college, there could be issues. So, like everything else, like Andrew Brandt has said on our show and post many times, there will be lawyers. And Darren Heitner was out posting some things yesterday about a group that he already has of players that are looking for a 5th year now. So it is, there are no guardrails. They're trying to get him. And every time they try to put a guardrail out there, there are 80 people that are trying to sue them for the guardrail.
And don't you think they should have learned something by this Sorsby case? I mean, stick your chest out. Stand for something. Okay? Get your lawyers, not what you stood behind 15 years ago. We all told you were going to lose. Okay? The defense of, well, this is how we've always done it.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
Until we stop doing it that way.
Well, I had Andrew Brandt on when you were gone. He did not like our idea of unionizing, and
Right.
he gave reasons why. And he's a smart guy,
Yep.
and it's the first person that we've had on, David, who, when we bring that up, has said, yeah, that ain't going to work. Okay. And he thought that Congress was needed. But did you happen to see yesterday that there were a group of athletes that talked about unionizing in college sports? Women's college basketball players.
Oh, here we go. Been saying it for 2 years minimum. They got sold down the river with that ESPN NCAA women's sports deal. Sold down the river. They should want out. They should want to negotiate their own thing. They'd make hundreds of $millions more.
So I just think it was interesting that the female college basketball player talking about unionizing. Just those are the little things that are out there, and you kind of a little hodgepodge at the end of the show. Oh, yeah, and by the way, the women's basketball player, she's going to get suspended pretty soon because she's getting technicals like Draymond Green.
Yes, she is.
Caitlin Clark's up to 5 Ts, 8, and you get suspended. She's appealing one of them because apparently it was for clapping. But regardless, she blew up on another official the other day. That act, I don't know. That's going to be an interesting act to see how people take to that. I mean, we loved McEnroe yelling and screaming at officials, but Caitlin Clark complains a lot, David.
Yeah, but McEnroe came up yelling at people. It was part of his thing. Okay, part of her appeal was she was the Iowa farm girl. Okay, that she was not a horse's blank. And on the court, she can be a horse's blank.
100%. That's why, I mean, I get that whether you want to think she's not the best player, but she's the face of that league. And I'm interested to see how that league handles the way she's acting.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Core-Tech and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
$77, Buff. 11 weeks today.
Did somebody answer, Trav?
Yes. Sorry about being late there. It shows you that you're in a better spot than I am with your clocks all being the same around the house. Apparently, the stove clock is a little slower than I thought. I have another Zoom appointment at 10. It was supposed to be at 2. And I emailed them and said, can we switch it to before 11 or after 3:30? And that was only because I want to play golf. That's it. And they moved it to 10 for me. I don't tell them the reasons why. I just hope from time to time.
Hey, they have same reasons for us too. Don't kid yourself.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. And in the pro hour, means we're out of here. See ya. Back tomorrow with Pat Kerwin and some USA World Cup talk, some kind. They play tomorrow night. Expected to win. Doesn't have a ton of meaning, but that's not how you get the clicks, baby. That's not how you get the clicks.
No, there's no doubt there. There is no doubt there. All right. You want me to do this stuff now?
If you want to.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
1853. Franklin Pierce signs the Gadsden Purchase. We bought about 30,000 square miles from Mexico for 10 schmil. It's southern Arizona and southern New Mexico.
Seems like a good deal.
Land always a good deal, David. Today in 1880, the first performance of O Canada. It would become the national anthem, obviously, at the Congrès National du Canada Français.
Was it René Doucet?
I'm guessing it was in French, just based on where it was performed. I don't know if it was a Duolingo. Butch Cassidy commits his first bank robbery today in 1889. They got about 21 grand. That's equivalent to 735,000 today. The Target Corporation, you know it as Target, was founded today in 1902 in Minneapolis. George Dayton opened it as Goodfellow Dry Goods. Today in 22, George Halas renamed the Chicago Staleys the Bears.
Good call.
Yeah, the Staleys doesn't have a lot of juice to it. Today in 47, Jackie Robinson steals home for the first time. He would steal home 19 times in his career.
47, huh?
Yeah.
That's when he debuted.
Mm-hmm. They would beat the Pirates that day 4-2. Joe Frazier stops Mexican challenger Manuel Ramos. Second round TKO today in 68. It was his first heavyweight title defense.
Ali was the champion. He said, I'm not going to war. They took his belts away. He was months into a 2.5-year legal fight. Foreman was about to win gold in Mexico City, but yep, the 64 champ, Joe Frazier, here he comes.
You know, Berman would have lost a line if it wasn't for what happened today. 1977, Crystal Gayle released her best-selling album, We Must Believe in Magic, that had the hit, Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue. First platinum album by a female country music artist. Billy Joel proving that you don't need a high school diploma to be successful, because it was today in 1992, at the age of 43, he received his high school diploma from Hicksville High School, 25 years after leaving with a missing English credit. He submitted samples of his writing to earn his degree. That same day, Shaq, the first pick by the Orlando Magic.
Let's see. What are we going to give him credit for? The Stranger, or how about if he reads this Faulkner book?
Today in 95, the Devils sweep my wings, the left wing lock. And the Devils win the cup in their first Stanley Cup Finals appearance today in 95. Dominated Detroit.
Oh, they did it. It was shocking.
Oh, yeah. No one saw it coming. And that left wing lock, that system was just money. Boring, but money. Dwight Howard, first pick today by the Magic in 04. The longest match in Wimbledon history took over 3 days to play. It was 11 hours and 5 minutes of play with Eisner and Frenchman Nicole Mahat in 2010.
What was it, 70, 68 in the fifth?
Something ridiculous. Today in 2013, the Blackhawks get their fifth title, taking the Bruins out in 6. Austin Matthews, first pick of the NHL draft by the Leafs today in 2016. So David doesn't have to do it. Today in 2021, in Surfside, Florida, 89 people die when the condominium collapsed. And 2 years ago today, the Panthers win their first title, defeating Edmonton in Game 7. Connor McDavid was the MVP of the playoffs. Jack Dempsey, guitarist Jeff Beck, Coach Terry Donahue, and reliever Doug Jones would have all celebrated birthdays today. Wayne Cashman's 81, the great Bruin. Mick Fleetwood, Fleetwood Mac, 79. A guy that you probably don't ever think of his name unless you play golf, and in which case, at least once a month, his name is said. TC Chen is 68. There's never been a double chip that's happened where someone over the age of 50 doesn't say a TC Chen did.
And they changed the rule.
Right.
Like 30 years later, it would have saved him at least 2 strokes.
Hockey player Bernie Nichols is 65. Uwe Krupp, who had the game winner when the Panthers first made the Stanley Cup final, he's 61. JJ Redick's 42. Lionel Messi is 39. And Bradley Chubb is 30. What did I miss, David?
Not a damn thing. All over it.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to Sacramento for the good, where a sheriff's office described this as a nationwide first. County deputies used a drone to disarm a suspect. Apparently, the person had been seen with a firearm and was not responding to negotiators and was hiding inside a home. deputies deployed a drone and found him in the corner of a garage. Apparently, he had a knife. And deputies said he was either playing dead or lying in wait. Deputies attached a strong magnet to the drone, flew it towards the suspect's hand, and the drone took the knife from the suspect. Deputies would then safely take him into custody. For the bad, we go to Texas, and I probably should have checked and see if we figured this out by now, but an animal shelter revealed on social media that we have an escaped animal from the Cedar Hollow Ranch. It's a giraffe. They're offering a $5,000 reward for the giraffe, and the giraffe is described as having rounded ears. I'm sorry, if a giraffe escapes in Texas, do you really need to describe its ears? It's a giraffe. Finally, the ugly, we go to Winter Haven, Florida, where 5 men were charged after they held a man at gunpoint and stole a vape pen. They jumped out of a truck and demanded the man give him everything he had in his pockets. He said, I've only got a cell phone and a vape pen. And they wanted both. And he said, I'm not giving you the cell phone because it had a tracker on it. So they jumped back in their truck and left with the vape pen and were arrested for armed robbery. That's a whole new level of stupid. And that is today's Good, Bad, and Ugly on June the 24th. Brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department, offering great pay, overtime, benefits, plus other jobs available. For all information, capecops.com. That's capecops.com.
All right. Groups B and C are going to finish things off today. They are the first 2 groups to play their third and final match of round-robin play and to see who advances. Top 2 in each group automatically advance. And then what's it going to be? 8 third-place teams that are going to advance at the end of the day?
Third-place teams, that's correct.
Okay. Group B, their 2 matches are both at 3 Eastern. They're taking place at the same time. Canada and Switzerland are tied for first. They're playing each other. They each have a win and a draw. Canada's got a 3-goal differential lead. So if they finish tied, Canada will win the group. If there's any other result, well, whoever wins will win the group. The other match in that group is Bosnia-Herzegovina against Qatar. They each have a point because they each have a draw. So obviously, if one of those teams today can beat the other, they'll jump up to 4 points. Now, if the wind is resounding, they actually have a chance to finish second in the group. They have to make up a 5-goal differential in the case of Bosnia. But first things first, Group B, Canada, Switzerland, 3 o'clock. Fox, Bosnia against Qatar, 3 o'clock, FS1. 6 o'clock tonight, Fox and FS1. Scotland and Brazil will be on Fox. Brazil, heavy favorite. Scotland's 0-2.
They're going to drink either way, David.
Well, that's true. In fact,
beer production in the States is going up simply because of the Scots.
Yes. Drinking is down across America, except in Boston, apparently. Where it's
and now Miami.
Numbers.
Right.
Actually, the Scots are 1-0-1. Okay. A win and a loss. They're a point behind Brazil and Morocco. So there, Morocco at Haiti, Scotland and Brazil. Brazil's on Fox tonight at 6.
A point could get Scotland to the next round, though, as one of the 8 third-place teams.
Yes.
I don't think they'll get it, but who knows?
So there's a couple of day baseball games today. One of them is because the Mets and Cubs decided to make up their Monday rainout today. So at 1 o'clock, Cubs and Mets, and then at 7 o'clock, Cubs and Mets. Otherwise, the Marlins with the early bird special, a mighty nooner.
DeGrom and Perez on the bump, respectively, for the two teams for a 12-10 start.
So,
Guardians
how
and
about
White
that?
Sox finished their series this afternoon, too. White Sox have won the first 2 and now have a 1-game lead in the division over Cleveland. That's a 2-10 start for what it's worth.
And yes, you're right. That's wrapping up a 3-game series. Colorado and Boston also in the afternoon. Technically, so are the Angels and Orioles. So there you go. Day 2 of the NBA draft is tonight, the second round. Hockey's draft doesn't begin until Friday.
No, but pay attention to your Florida Panthers again. And I know the Tampa folks don't like to hear me talking about this. And I get it, Tampa. But David mentioned it yesterday. Connor Hellebuyck is looking for a trade, wants out of Winnipeg. And word came out late yesterday that you know who might be interested in acquiring the goaltender born in the United States as all the U.S. players are leaving Canada as quickly as humanly possible? That's the Florida Panthers, because it looks like Bobrovsky's not going to sign there. He's going to want a bunch of money. They don't want to pay him all of that money. Hellebuyck's on an $8.5 million contract. The Panthers can afford that if they want to. So just pay attention, because there are moves being made right now, and that's a guy that someone's going to make a move for.
Right. What young player are they going to be willing to give up? To me, it's got to be Lundell. I don't see who else on their roster they could throw in that would get Winnipeg interested. I've also heard Buffalo is making a major trade effort for Hellebuyck.
Well, and they just picked up the 4th pick yesterday. So
Right.
that could be part of it. I mean,
Right.
So day 2 of the NBA draft, World Cup, baseball, and maybe a hockey trade happening. Pat Kerwin on the show tomorrow. Miller and Moulton.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
No!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio, with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.